Assemble the accused! Bear witness to their trials. The time of the Inquisition is now at hand. Putting pop culture to the rack, the Inquisition calls to account the events of the week, rooting out heresy wherever it is found. I am Grand Inquisitor Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and joining me for tonight's torture is Nerdrotic Channel's Grand Inquisitor, Gary Beekler. Gary, are you ready to dish out punishment tonight?
I am, but not as much punishment as I thought I was going to dish out.
I know, with you. I'm upset.
I'm a little disappointed. I had so much ready to go. The rack was tightened up, whatever you do with the rack. My wheel was nice. My wheel was oiled and greased. And what was the one with the boats and the bugs again?
The scaphism.
My scaphism boat was cleaned out and ready to go. And yeah, now what happens? A good episode of Watchmen. It's not great.
I know it. We'll discuss it. We'll discuss it.
Yeah, don't worry. We're not drinking Kool-Aid or anything.
No, not drinking the Kool-Aid, but yeah.
But we've got thoughts.
Yes.
We've got thoughts. Not the kind on Twitch, although maybe. But welcome. We have so many people here. We have DW, we have Julie Day, we have Generial One, we have Blasted Heath, we have Fatty. You're not a fatty, you're just big bone. We have Nicholas Horton, we have Dr. Meatball, we have Gray Troll, we have Mutated Genome, one of my patrons. We have a lot of my patrons here, and we have some moderators, modrotics. I don't know where they are, but I'm sure they're here. And I want to there's Chris Persia right there, and Mark Lurzeth. And I want to point out that I do have the join button now, and I believe you do as well on your channel.
Yes, yes.
So
I'm going to launch it tomorrow. Very happy to have it up there.
It looks like I got a JMLZ is a member. Hail, welcome. I need to add some more stuff, but I will. I just wanted to get it up. And well, that sounded bad. Yeah, I need to blue pill my channel a little bit. Red pill and blue pill. You're getting here, okay, but not the other kind of blue pill. No. So the Modrotics or Nerd Wrenches, we could be Nerd Wrenches, Dr. Meatball. So yeah, Overlord DVD, your channel's been blowing up, dude. Your channel's been blowing up. It's been great watching your success. So I want to first and foremost congratulate you on getting very close to 100,000 subscribers. A week. I think you'll be there.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I'm hoping I've got a big Star Wars video coming out tomorrow, possibly Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, a huge one, at least as big as the one that I put out before. And this is the one I was nervous about putting out, but I just decided to hell with it. So I'm going to do it.
Do it. Yeah. We'll talk after the show, because I'm putting out a Doctor Who one. I've been sitting on this rumor for months. And I just decided to say, screw it. I'm going to put it out, and what happens. You know, it's I'll give a little hint. It's something that's been out there in the wind. There's been a lot of theorizing on it and stuff. So it's out there. The answer is out there. But I can't wait for your vid. I can't wait to hear what you've got to say. Star Wars is in a bad way. It's in a bad way. And we're going to talk about that as well after the Watchmen discussion, because it looks like this is going to be quite an awful movie. It's going to be really bad. And I think they know it. And I think they're tempering expectations. We have an actress out there tempering expectations. We have the actual director tempering expectations. So,
well, I've got some things that will further tamp down and quite extensively, but we'll see. It makes me, whatever. It just sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. But I will have my badges, emojis, perks, and everything up there. So I'm hoping people will join my channel as well.
Yes. Welcome, Daniel. Thank you. Yeah, I gotta figure out how to make emojis and stuff. Make stuff small.
Yes.
I'll figure it out. Okay, so Watchmen, episode 5 of 9, and it is called A Little Afraid of Lightning, is by far, to me, the best episode of this series so far. and it's everything this thing should have been if it was going to be anything. What were your overall thoughts on the episode?
My overall thoughts were that a stopwatch is right twice a day, and this was the stopwatch. This was the stopwatch. I thought it was really quite good. The opening was, I thought, stellar. I mean, now I'm going to preface this by saying I believe that this show should not exist. I believe there should be no sequel whatsoever to Watchmen, period. So it's an abomination to start with, and Lindelof still remains abominable. However, this episode was, I mean, to say it's the best episode of Watchmen is not saying anything, but I actually thought this was a damn good episode, with a few exceptions of woke shit that, but the main through line with Party Balloon, aka Looking Glass, the opening of the thing was fucking amazing. The opening of this episode went where Zack Snyder should have gone. It succeeded where Zack Snyder failed in the Watchmen movie, in my opinion. I have always been very critical of him for skipping out on the space squid, just jettisoning that. He didn't think he could pull it off. He didn't want to get laughs, whatever. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. It was perfectly done, beautifully done, kicked ass. And I got to tell you, the actor who plays Party Balloon is a damn fine actor. We saw him in Buster Scruggs, and we saw him in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? He was riveting. He was absolutely riveting to watch, and putting a good, strong character with a good script made me like, oh, Jesus Christ. So this is what this show could have been without all the woke shit. Start to finish. I mean, everything ties in. Everything, it seems, logically extrapolated from the original Watchmen comic. There was nothing out of place except the shit with Adrian Veidt, and then of course, the stuff with what's her name, Night Whammon. But overall, I thought this episode wasn't just good. I was actually entertained, and shoot, I may even go watch it again. There was so much right with it, dude. So much.
No, I actually felt for the character. Here's the deal with this show. Now that I'm getting a feel for it, this is a great example of how agenda derails narrative. I think it might be the best example, because there are examples out there like Westworld season 2, Iron Fist season 2 are two of the worst case scenarios as far as just agenda completely ruining your entire show to make it. By the time you get to the end, you just realize what you're watching. That's me. And you don't enjoy any of it anymore. But with this one, you see the potential of what could have been if they hadn't decided to get this ham-fisted politics. People of talent, if you're a talented writer like Alan Moore, you very subtly put that stuff in a way that doesn't throw up people's defense mechanisms.
Right.
This is still Wokeman. They managed to make 2 more female scientists. So every woman is either a hard-hitting, hard-nut cop or they're a freaking scientist in this world. So they had a mustache twirling villain, which is the senator. Duh. Yeah. Everybody knew he was bad. But Tim Blake Nelson and Regina King, they're like decent actors. They're given like this sometimes crap material. But in this episode, I really liked the Looking Glass character. And as I just talked about before we went live, here's what you probably could have done. I'm not one of those guys who thinks he has a better idea. I don't have plots in my head. I'm not a writer. But what I saw here is you should have started this series with the first scene of this episode. That's where you should have flat out started the show. And you could have gone a different direction. Watchmen is about subverting the superhero genre, not about the politics. It's those are part of this story, but the main part is putting the superhero genre on its head, and basically subverting the Justice League. I mean, that's what it does. But if you want to bring it in the modern times, you could have gone Marvel, or even better, the squid landing on New York, the psychic power that they talked about, which is from the book, could have created mutants, could have created the X-Men, and you could have subverted the whole X-Men thing in a really different way. There's a lot of things you can play with X-Men, because there's tons of tropes in X-Men that you could have subverted in a very interesting way, and you could have gone that way, and you still could have gotten your little pieces of agenda that you need to get in there. But no, this was a good episode because of Tim Blake Nelson. It was focused on his character. He has an actual origin. He's he's got powers. He's not a superhero. This is still a cop procedural drama. Everybody's kind of frumpy. There's nobody like really in shape. You could see what they're doing with the Hood of Justice like a mile away now. So there are some things that you could see it coming. All it takes is, I'm sure, one trip to the Watchmen Reddit. They probably have the entire season figured out by now because clever people are on Reddit sometimes. They're not all dumb, believe it or not. And yeah, I thought it was good. The strong points were Tim Blake Nelson. There's some pills called nostalgia that are memories in pill form. They have this interdimensional doorway that they're playing with. Turns out the space racists were a red herring. Well, they're still there, but they're being used by the elites to do another Ozymandias plan for. We got
they're
a big
up to something, but Ozymandias is still, doing the squid rains to keep the door open. So I think they're still going on his plan, more or less.
Yes, he planned everything apparently, and he planned Robert Redford becoming president. We get a big information dump, and Looking Glass, who spends the first half of the episode, he's got a like an AA group for people for psychics who suffer trauma from the squid. He has tinfoil in his baseball hat, and that's why he wears his Looking Glass mask, because it protects him. He's scared to death because he was there. He was in Jersey. So the episode opens up in Jersey on 11/1 in 1985. And he's part of a church group from Tulsa that's supposed to pass out pamphlets at the Jersey Shore or whatever.
Right. Hoboken.
The one thing they got, maybe, okay, I could be wrong because I grew up in SoCal and I did not grow up in Jersey. Did dudes wear man buns in 1985 in Jersey? Because if they had done that in California, they'd have gotten their asses beat every day. And so I don't know. Maybe they did. But
I doubt it.
With man buns.
I doubt it. I mean, certainly not in Hoboken. No.
Yeah. So he gets drawn into the Hall of Mirrors by a girl who, undresses him and looks like she's about to give him a BJ, and she ends up stealing his clothes. And then the squid drops, and he was in the Hall of Mirrors, and everything breaks, and that's his origin. That was cool. That was like really well done.
Cool. The whole sequence. I love the music, and I love the girl. I just fell in love with that 80s chick right there. She was so hot. She was just God. I was just like, geez. It took me in that world. Yeah. I would have gone in that fucking mirror maze with her.
I mean, like, I know it's dude, totally.
I'd have gotten my pants ripped off too. That's what. There's no shame in it.
There isn't. That's what changed my life was those punk rock girls. I mean, the not the blue haired on Twitter. They besmirched the 1980s punk rock girls' name. Okay, right. Because those were real punk rock girls, and I liked them a lot, and I ended up marrying one. So that scene was fantastic, and you got to see the squid. You got to see it
in a long, perfect tracking shot. And I love the music as they pulled out that kind of very, very 80s horror movie music. I just thought so much right in this episode.
So they're setting us up, dude. They're so setting us up. Yeah.
I know.
I just feel the rug is about to get pulled out from us.
But I have to be honest.
Yep.
I hate Lindelof's guts. I hate him, and I hate that they're doing this, and I hate this show. But God, when you see something that's good, you have to speak up. I will never ever let my personal bias interfere with my reviews, even when I hate their fucking guts. And if Ruse of Soywoker is brilliant, I will still say I hate it and Star Wars is dead, but I will admit that it was good. So I'm honest. And I have to say, I didn't just like this episode. I really kind of loved a lot of this episode, I have to say.
It's the first time I felt like when we get to that part when his character sees the truck full of lettuce and he's going in alone. I was actually I'm like, dude, he's an idiot. He's going in by himself. There's no backup there yet. And so yeah, I actually felt something.
Yes.
But yeah, I also want to preface that we have to admit when something's good. I do too. It's not an endorsement. No. I mean, like, something has to be good all the way through for me to endorse it.
Oh yeah.
And
this is like a little oasis, a little island sticking out from a sea of shit. Just a pure sea of shit. And there's this little island sticking up, and that was this episode. And I got to tell you, next episode looks woker than woke. We're going to Woke Town on the Woke Express. It is going to be so woke. It's like they saved up the woke that they didn't put in this episode and shoved it in a suppository of woke right up the wazoo of this next episode. It looked so bad that the preview was making me hemorrhage. So
yeah, agreed. It's the first 20 minutes of the series, like packed into a whole hour.
It's gonna be bad.
And we're doing these live reviews, and I hope you all tune in. And I love doing these things. I am gonna do a video on the whole season. I can't do this episodically because this is it.
Yeah,
there's so much to hit, and hopefully you will do one too. Yeah, because I think both of our perspectives will be very interesting. I would love to see a video from you on that, my friend.
It'll come if I survive. But that this next one was bad. This next one looks so fucking.
It looks bad. I do remind me, chat, after we're done talking about Watchmen, the author Stephen Walton just sent me some news that's very interesting concerning the Mandalorian. But we'll get to that in a second. Thank you, author Stephen Walton, the author of the Fandom Menace book. Go look for it on Indiegogo. And I'm not sure if the funding's done or not. Sorry, Stephen. But let's if you're out there, you're on my phone. Text me if I should plug anything. Thanks, buddy. So they get through the amusement park. We get that tracking shot that's beautiful. I still love the Zack Snyder movie, all of it. I love the 4 hours. I do, but it's not I like it as a movie adaptation, but it's not the comic. The comic is perfection.
No, and he did a great job. I mean, he did a great job other than completely bungling the end. It's like you do Moby Dick without the white whale, then you're just done dick. You've done Moby Dick to Moby Dick if you do it without the white whale. And the same thing with the space squid. The space squid's woven throughout the whole thing. It's the whole plan. And you've just rewritten the Watchmen, Zack Snyder.
And when you cut out the actor and all the scientists and the production designers they had on the island,
they were vanishing and stuff. Fuck
and the guy was going to take the girl to get laid, and he sees the bomb, and
that's no good. No, I'm sorry. To me, that was that
sounds like a
thank you for playing,
decision.
Sir. You have lost. You have lost, sir. You have wasted my time. Good day to you. However, Jackie Earl Haley was fantastic as Rorschach, the definitive Rorschach. Couldn't do it better. I mean, all of it was. I mean, there were so many great elements. The design that he did, the production design, everything was fantastic, and yet he fumbles something that fundamental. And it was outrageous to me.
I'm just hanging from my camera. So, no, I got it at the comic shop I used to own for 10 years in San Francisco. You might not have heard. They sent me like a buttload of promotional, and I got 100 of these buttons, some tons of one sheets. I still have a bunch of them.
Oh, dude, send me some.
I will. Yeah. Oh, dude, I gotta send you this. Hang on, I gotta send you this.
I would really like.
I got one of these for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, from The Expanse.
So. Oh, thank you. Yeah, but man, I would love a vintage Watchmen button. That would
you got fantastic. It. No problem. I got tons of these. Okay, so we got Tim Blake Nelson's origin. We find out he's got issues with women because he got his clothes stolen and he was a virgin. That was his first experience. So I get it. And so much depth to this character. And that's, another thing is, we're 5 episodes in. We're over halfway through.
Right.
And it's like, again, this should have happened earlier. And listen, we're judging this thing episode by episode as well. So this, I mean, like I said, the whole rug could get pulled out, and this might be just an oasis in the middle of a desert of agenda and boredom. But it's still not a superhero thing. It's still not Watchmen. And yeah, it really takes you out when it, like, you could just tell it sucks. And I don't know if Hollywood feels pressured to do this. They must. I got a video coming out Tuesday or something like that. That's gonna talk about, like, I'm not gonna be in defense of Hollywood, but it really is. I think they feel pressured to do this. You can tell the Bechdel scenes. I mean, we just reviewed a Star Trek episode, which was it was the Kobe, or the Bechdel Maru. It was a complete Bechdel test episode, and it was 9 minutes. And you know that whole where he's guessing, with the wait, are you a waitress? Are you you're in foreclosure? No, I'm a radiologist. Of course she is. And then his ex-girlfriend is the one studying the nostalgia pills. So, we get his background, his job. He works for marketing departments, and his power, by the way, is he can tell if somebody's telling the truth or not. That's it. He's not full on psychic. He can just tell if you're lying. So he gets brought in by marketing firms, and they can tell if kids are lying about a cereal that they're taking, or they did I guess New York is still in shambles, or they just put it back together now, and they're trying to lure people back to New York. And there's a whole marketing campaign to get people back to New York, and he told them they were lying. Then you see how he lives. He parks his cars in a storage facility. He lives in a house, but he's got the bunker, and the bunker is for when the squid storms happen. He has an alarm system that's extra dimensional security. So it goes off anytime there's a squid storm, so he can go down there because he's scared shitless. That's why he started this this like an NAAA group. And and there's not a lot of Angela here, Regina King's character. There's one scene in the police department where Lori had bugged his cactus, so she overheard Sister Knight asking about the pills that she had given him to test with his ex-girlfriend. So she calls him in. She calls Looking Glass in, keeps calling him Mirror Man. And it's a little exposition-y. I mean, I don't know if it was a real conversation. It was just give more background on him.
Yeah, it was crap.
But she knows about it. And so we focus on him the first part. We see his meeting. Let me know if I'm forgetting anything here. I've got my notes here, but and then he has his little group, his NA group, and he meets a woman in there who comes in, and he asks if she's a friend of Nemo, because those of us in AA or NA, we refer to each other sometimes as a friend of Bill W. And Dr. Bob are the two gentlemen who started the Alcoholics Anonymous. And so they called it Friend of Nemo, which I did like that joke. I thought it was pretty funny. And she acts all mysterious, and then, coaxes him out to dinner. They have a conversation,
which was good.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very genuine and real, and they seemed like two real characters.
Yeah, I've seen her in a bunch of stuff before, but I can't remember what
she was. She was in Ray Donovan. She was in Caprica. She was the crazy wife of Greystone that kind of spilled the beans about what was going on and caused a riot. So she always plays kind of a crazy, edgy, broad, and so no different here. She was quite good.
Yep.
It's sad that she had more character development than any of the other major characters in just like 5, 6, 7 minutes. I mean, you believe that she was real and way more than Angela or whatever her fucking name is.
Let's talk about that. Okay, yeah. So this is not Regina King's fault, or the guy who plays Calvin, who was Black Manta in Aquaman. I want to remove them from the equation as actors. This is Damon Lindelof, and this is why Hollywood has got they've got a big problem. They got a big problem because they are blocking themselves creatively because they're so goddamn worried about writing a white person writing a black person with any complexity, because of the blue check marks on Twitter, or how they'll get called out at a party, or they'll look bad on social media, something. So the only characters that get written, and this is inherently kind of if you know what I'm saying, the only characters with any complexity are the white characters, and that's where he feels more comfortable writing. And it's freaking clear as hell in this. So it's insane. The world is turned insane, and you're writing the other characters just as these infallible beings. And the only time, part of a Mary Sue is they do actually have flaws, but their flaws are endearing, or they trust a man. And that's what we have here. I'm going to call it out.
Right.
And again, not Regina King's fault, not the actor's fault. It is Damon Lindelof, and it became even more clear in this episode. By the way, when Looking Glass visited his ex-wife or his ex-girlfriend, she was, of course, a soulful saint, and the same goes for women as well. It's not just Regina King. It's women.
That's true.
Of any color.
She was a soulful saint that throws a puppy into a disposal.
Yes, I was just going to bring that up.
Okay. Because it just continues the pointless, ugly stupidity of this show.
Yeah,
really. I hate this fucking show. I really do, because it's so just ugly and nasty for shock's purposes, for edginess, and there's no reason. There's no reason to throw the goddamn puppy into the disposal because it's a tiny bit too small. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so she was cloning dogs, and it was just and she asked Wade if he wanted it. He said no, and she just disposed of it, fried it. And yeah, it's, for one, Ozymandias completely and this is where it fundamentally undoes Watchmen. It was supposed to be left to your imagination. I'm not saying it would have turned in, I highly doubt it would have turned into a utopia, but it really, this episode does start encroaching on the original source material, though.
Yep.
And that's where the biggest crime happens, and we'll get to that. So yeah, I said fried clone dog right here. And then we find out the nostalgia pills are memories, and that he tells, or no, he doesn't. Does he tell Angela that at that point? Or we find out? No, that's when we find out that it's nostalgia. His ex-girlfriend tells Wade that these are nostalgia, and they are somebody's memories in pill form. So they go to the group, and that's where he meets the blonde girl, and she drives away. She's very charming conversation. It's very good. And she drives away. Her ride shows up, and it's a pickup truck with a bunch of lettuce in it. And the lettuce somehow accidentally falls out, and Wade sees this and runs it to his car real quick and says, "Did we ever, get the truck from when that cop got shot?" That's not how he said it, but they said no. So he goes and follows them to a storage facility, and it looked like storage. Maybe it was church. I'm not sure. And he sees they're wearing Rorschach masks. He calls for backup. He goes in. This was actually a pretty good scene. This was all, him following. And you see, as he's walking through the hallways, there's a giant big red eye that looks like the eye of Sauron, but it's actually the eye of the squid. And that's what the Rorschach, the Rorschach gang, of course, it's a front, as we thought it was going to be. So there is the racists. They're just dumb. They're just muscle. They're just being used for muscle. And the blonde girl had lured Wade in. She wanted to bring him into the group to free him, and also to probably make him part of the group. Well, they needed help with something. And we find out the senator was part of all of this, which surprised me not at all. I was expecting it. So the senator is running, and they have an interdimensional portal that they were throwing a basketball through. Any theories on what this is for?
Well, they're gonna drop something somewhere. It's just a question of what and why. There was one bit in there, what Adrian Veidt said on the video, which thrilled me to no end. It was just like, it just made me shake my head. It like, God damn it, these people are actually capable of making a great show, and they actually, some of them actually know what the fuck they're doing. The person who wrote this, when Adrian Veidt says, "And the fear that has gripped this land, you're looking at its architect," and the thing that I loved so much about that is that Watchmen is based upon an episode of The Outer Limits called The Architects of Fear. with Robert Culp, where they were transforming him into a horrible alien to shock the world into peace. So that, I mean, the fact that they're aware of that and the fact that they integrated it like that, it's just like, you stupid bastards. You know, you're giving us this woke wankery and all this garbage, and you could have actually made something, you know, fucking great. You know, the seeds were there, and instead they got to make it this woke wonderland of crap. It's just sad. Even though look, I'm opposed, like I said, entirely to a Watchmen sequel, entirely, irrevocably. But you know, if you're gonna make us review this stuff, you could have at least made it, you know, tolerable. And it just shows me they could have made it tolerable. They could have taken it easy on us, but they didn't.
No,
Bastards.
This is great. And this is what we have been talking about for some of us for years, some of us for months. Star Wars could have been good. Star Trek could have been good. Doctor Who could have been good, but they weren't. Why?
No.
It wasn't the inclusivity and the diversity. So shut the frack up about that. It was your GD partisan stupid agenda that only you agree. And I'm talking to you, elite Hollywood, at your little cocktail parties, yipping over how great you are as you're being driven around and having people worship you every day. Paid people, by the way. So yeah, and that's it. That's it. They you know what? Seth MacFarlane, follow the example of Seth MacFarlane. He knows what he's doing. He's not just dick and fart jokes, and that he's a prime. And Rand Shankar, the guy who's running, one of the guys who's running The Expanse. Those are two prime good examples of what's good in Hollywood. This is not it though, because after the episode, it was kind of like The Mandalorian with me. I got more pissed. I'm like, so it's an interdimensional thing that they're going to drop on. By the way, they telegraphed everything. So the beginning of this episode telegraphed him being pulled in by that girl, and that brick joke that happened in the Laurie Blake episode telegraphed the whole series. So they're probably luring in Ozymandias or Dr. Manhattan or something, and they're going to literally drop something on him. Remember, the brick drops on God. And there's an episode called A God Walks Into a Bar. So,
right.
Dr. Manhattan, we'll get to this, must be on Mars. I don't know why. And the one scene we did see him in the trailer was at that amusement park in 1985. That was not in a modern scene. So I don't know if we get Dr. Manhattan at all, to be honest with you. But the little trans-dimensional thing looked like his powers. It definitely looked like his powers. At least how they represented him in the Zack Snyder movie.
Did, although it's not traveling through time. And the thing is, they better leave him out of it. They just better leave him out of it, because if they don't, I'm sorry, there's not a damn thing they're going to be able to come up with that will convince me that they could get Dr. Manhattan. There's not a damn thing. Dr. Manhattan perceives time non-linearly. So anything that you're going to do in time, he can see it. He's already,
unless they break out the tachyons. Unless they break out those tachyons.
well,
I know, goddamn so. Tachyons. I don't think so either. I think it's a red herring. Lindelof is very good at those things. So Wade is showed the truth by the senator. He's got a disc. It's Ozymandias from a day before the squid drops, and he lays out he monologues. He's like, I planned everything. So Robert Redford sees this tape as president years later that Ozymandias recorded before the squid drop, because everything went according to plan. And the senator got a copy of it and he burned it. And now Wade is free. Wade knows the truth, that there was no squid. It was all BS to unite the world and the brink of destruction and blah, blah, blah. And he's a little disillusioned at this point.
Yes.
But he doesn't change a lot of his habits, what I did like. When the senator said squid quo pro, though, I wanted to punch the monitor. And honestly, at this point, though, when Ozymandias tells the whole plan, this is when you start going into sacred territory. You do actually start messing with the the work by Alan Moore, and I don't think you should be going there, no matter how good it is. I think if you're going to do a freaking sequel, stay the hell away from the source material. But now you've dipped in, and oh boy, you better do something real good.
Oh, they're not. I mean, they're going to ruin it. They're going to ruin it. That's what they do. That is Jar Jar Abrams' modus operandi. That is what Jar Jar does. He imposes himself on the source material and goes back as far as he can retroactively with time travel or some future event that casts the past in a different light and ruins it. Like Luke. Now the stench of Luke Skywalker, traitor, milk drinker, is all over.
Liar.
Star Wars.
Liar,
right.
And then the one I didn't know, and this came out like a month ago and I missed it. Han Solo sold his medal for beer.
That's bullshit. I know. It's like again, it comes down to my laws of canon. It comes down to my laws of canon. And that's bullshit.
Watch that video, by the way.
It does not impact the canon of a property. If some owner retroactively like does some shit that is not approved by the creator, only the original creator can alter his intention of canon. Not like now the heirs, Disney, can make new canon moving forward as long as it does not contradict what George Lucas did. And the fact that it does means it's not canon. The only exception to this rule is that fans can kind of by universal assent determine what is canon and what is not when the creator goes wrong, like George Lucas did with Greedo shooting at Han first. Well, the entire world has basically said that's crap. And so even though George Lucas himself made that revision, it is not considered canon because fans have rejected it roundly. And I mean, it takes a lot. It's kind of like, like an impeachment, right? Like if you're going to impeach the president, it has to be like both houses of Congress. So same thing. If you're going to impeach the revision to canon of a creator, it has to basically be like universally reviled among the fandom. I mean, like, 90% of fans, like if you ask them, hey, did Greedo shoot first? Hell no. Well, then it's not canon.
Nope. And by the way, we're going to get to the chat in just a moment. We're almost done with the episode. Thank you for everybody for joining us. Thank you for all the new members. Thank you for the super chats. We will get to it. We're just getting started, folks. Okay, so he gets all the news, and the senator, he dumps this, but he had to make a deal with the senator. The senator says you have to serve up Sister Knight. She's getting in the way. She's going to foil our plans. So he has to serve her up, and he either snitches her, rats her out, or the senator will go in and have the racist go in and kill her entire family. So of course Wade, because he actually likes her, we find out like Wade, and this is another problem with this whole mystery box crap, because they do mystery box with characterization too. So you don't really get to know a character until the 5th episode. Now, finally I like him, because I wasn't sure how to feel about him before. And there's dumb scenes in here too, like he's eating a can of beans. It's like, remember Rorschach?
Yeah, exactly. That pissed me off. That made me want to punch.
Yep. And then the smiley face freaking cereal. It's like, come on with the member berries. It's lame. So he agrees to the deal. And of course the cactus is bugged on his desk. So he calls Angela over and says, yes, I want to help you, but you need to tell me what's up. And then she says, okay, yeah, my grandfather gave me those pills. He says he killed the chief, and I covered it up because there's no way he could have done it. And then Lori Blake hears it and comes out to arrest her. And as she's doing that, she downs all the pills, the memory pills. So those are somebody else's memories. And apparently that's very bad. And we'll get to that later. And Wade, feels bad. He said, I'm sorry. But we also have an Ozymandias scene. And he finally gets on the catapult or the trebuchet. And we find out what he was going to do. So he catapults, and at first we were led to believe that he was on Earth's moon. He is not on Earth's moon. He's on Phobos, or what was the other one again? I'm sorry. Deimos. Phobos or Deimos. Around Mars. It looked like Mars to me. Unless it was, I don't know. At first I thought it was Jupiter, but then Mars, because I don't know. But he's not around Earth. And he's got remember he was trebucheting all the clones up there. And the reason he was doing that is so he could spell "Save Me" with all the bodies.
Yes.
So he did make it out there. He gets pulled back, and the game warden punishes him and starts beating the crap out of him because Ozymandias said, "Your god has abandoned you," and I guess the clones agreed, and they realized that it's Dr. Manhattan who is supposed to be on Mars. So it's Dr. Manhattan imprisoning him there, and I guess it was voluntary at first, but yeah, I don't know why. But I think this whole thing, I think Ozymandias is never going to make it back, and I think he's just gonna. I don't know what the point of this whole story will be, other than he was there and he got foiled. Okay, the smartest, and it'll turn out that Madame True will be like twice as smart and twice as rich as him, and twice as scientific. So yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere. I just think it's a side story to be quirky and weird, but we'll see.
Which feels like another Alan Moore project, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, with its retro kind of, steampunk approach, but it's not anything to do with Watchmen, and it really doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't know if you caught this, but the logic of like, okay, trebucheting him up into the sky to get out of the warp, and then when they pull back on the cord, suddenly he's on the ground.
Yeah, why didn't he just...
Actually, what would have happened is he would have been pulled through and then plummeted to his death, because obviously if you can fucking go to the other, out of the bubble, walking around on the ground, then you just do that. You don't need the trebuchet. So
yeah, that didn't make any sense at all.
But the only reason is because, otherwise he'd die. So
yeah,
that's the problem. So it's just a cheat, another cheat, a Lindelof cheat.
It was
go all the way, do all this stuff, get up there, it yanks it back, and he's suddenly on the ground. There you go.
And I think that's probably a good representation of what this series will probably be. All this hullabaloo, and it'll be nothing at the end. I don't know. The ratings improved last week. Not much.
Crap.
Yeah. Well, was it last week? Yeah. But I mean, it was coming off a better episode. What happens with television, because I've covered episodic television now for like 2 years straight, I've been paying attention to the ratings, and what will happen is a good episode will lead into higher ratings in the next episode. But if that sucks, and it really sucks, it will greatly affect the rest of the series, where a certain percentage of people just never come back. And it's performing a little under what Westworld, actually a lot under what Westworld season 2 or season 1 and season 2 did. And yeah, we'll see. Well, it all depends on how it ends, and that's a Lindelof joint. So they bust Angela, and then Wade goes home. He gets his alarm that he had broken earlier. He gets it back and he throws it in the trash. Then he goes back and hauls it out of the trash. And as he goes back into his house, a bunch of the Rorschach gang come with their sawed-off shotguns, and they're going to kill him. So they'll probably once we get interested, I'm guessing it's kind of like once you see a member of Buffy who's been around for a while, when they finally get their name in the credits, that means they're dead that episode. I think they'll probably kill off what will be our favorite character, and we'll can go back to comfortably hating the show again.
Well, that's lovely. That's absolutely. Although I don't know why they would, but whatever.
And we won't get to see that until episode after next,
right? Because we're going to Woketown.
We're going to
One-way
Woketown
ticket to Woketown. That's going to be just so much fun.
And that's the end of the episode. And we've only got 4 more left. Thank goodness. So overall, it was a good episode of a bad series. That's it. It's still Woketown.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I would say there were parts of it that achieved greatness. I really liked it, but
you can do an edit now. Somebody can start putting together an edit where you put you squid into the Zack Snyder's Watchmen.
Absolutely, thank God.
Where's our helpful
Just cut that scene right in there. It's just a guy, and and just fix it, because that was terrible.
Somebody call
I'm
Ivan
sorry,
Ortega,
dude. I'll never forgive that. That was a tragic flaw in what could have otherwise been a amazing movie.
It didn't bother me because so many comic book movies have just never measured up. They just never have, and that's the way it goes. So
it's a key element. It can't be discarded.
All right, we'll get to some super chats. Then we got to talk about Star Wars, and we're gonna start out with Mandalorian because I got to come out with that Stephen Walton news. But we got here, my camera's in the way. Hang on. Here we go. Ultra Raider 52 for $6.99 Canadian pesos. I finally tried episode 1, and wow, that was horrible. No clue what was going on, and it was pure woke agenda. Yeah, episode 1 is awful. It's bloody awful. And they've done 2 Superman origin analogies like in 4 episodes, which is lame. And then they didn't even, the thing is, they're not revisiting stuff from the previous episode. So you can tell they're just drawing. There's only probably 5 episodes of actual material, and there is a ton of filler in this. And a lot of, it's not a superhero show. It's not. This is a superhero show for people who like NPR or something. I don't know. Psycho Dwarf 9 for $2. It has a little emoji. Thanks. I appreciate it. John Balderdash for $5. It seems most SJWs think that when we say agenda, they mean anything that doesn't constantly use our political opinions to suck us off. Not true. No, absolutely. The whole thing is the argument that's always placed against us is erroneous. And I always put it like, if a black woman makes me a crappy peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I complain about the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, she made it bad, but she's not a bad person over it. Okay. So that's what they try to go racist because that black woman, made you a bad I mean, I don't know how you screw up a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I'm sure they could in the UK because they screwed up a lot of food. They screwed up a BLT. I mean, it's bad. So that's what happens here. And they're doing that on purpose because they don't have a counter argument for what we really have a problem with, which is narratives.
Yep.
John Balderdish, thank you for the $5. Psycho Dwarf 9, $2. Just to let you know, you two, just to let you two know that you're appreciated. Thank you, Psycho Dwarf.
Thank you, my friend.
We feel appreciated. John Balderdash for $5. I would attribute that to projection because they're always being pandered to and whine incessantly when their demands aren't met. Yes, Hollywood let the wolf in the door by adhering to their demands, bowing to pressure from the blue check marks on Twitter and other places. And I think maybe, just maybe, they're starting to understand. And then many of the actors, because they're just hollow husks of human beings, and they forgot what being a person was, just tend to go whichever way the wind blows. I think maybe some are figuring out that the people who are complaining are a very small minority. I mean, like Christ. I saw some rag called John F. Trent, his Bounding into Comics, who I've hung out with like all day at New York Comic Con and stuff, unabashedly alt-right. Somebody put that in print, by the way. So I don't know. Maybe he should call a lawyer on that.
Yeah,
one.
he should. He should, because that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this crap. I'm sick of these slanders. I'm sick of these liars. I'm sick of these mendacious pieces of garbage that have never watched a video or read an article that he wrote. Nothing. And they call me like, all this crap a racist. Like there was a turd, I think Saturday, that was all over. Like Tom was engaging with him, and I just basically schooled him and then dismissed his ass. But because I don't have time to waste with these clowns, I'd much rather spend time answering people that, I care about and my, patrons and fans on YouTube and Twitter. I don't have time, but yeah, that I'm just so sick to death of these dishonest, lying scum slandering us. I'm just sick of it.
Now, and honestly, though, I think it doesn't harm us anymore. There was a time it did. There was a time we thought it did. Early on in the Doctor Who stuff, I was dealing with it. You still deal with it. I still deal with it with Star Trek, but I mostly ignore it with my 1 hour a day on Twitter. That's it. So I don't see much of it. Unfortunately, I don't get to answer everything because I'm trying to get through the minutia on that one, but you know how it goes. but I am not confident we will win the agenda struggle. Hollywood seems happy to lose any amount of money to push it, and the normies will still flock to their recycled properties. For $10, John Balderdash. Charlie's Angels wasn't going to do good if they put agenda in it or not. I'm telling you that right now. Nobody cares about it, and the generation that it was into that is long. I mean, they're too old to. They don't go to movies anymore. That's even old for me. Okay, Charlie's Angels was on when I was like a wee little kid. And plus, men watched it to watch the very attractive women running around. So it's not a feminist property. Elizabeth Banks, who was in Spider-Man, said, "Oh, you got your 37 Spider-Man movies." And I like Elizabeth Banks. She was great in The 40-Year-Old Virgin. But yeah, she drank the Kool-Aid. And I saw this article today, like Elizabeth Banks is perfect to direct an MCU movie. I'm all and they based it on Charlie's Angels. Maybe I'll read that later. It's a pretty hilarious article. It's from CBR. Freaking CBR. RR for $19.99. Hail Gary and Lord Doomcock for another night of punishment in defense of our modern myths and legends. Before you guys commence with the dishing out of punishments, can Sabu be released to lay down a path of Doomnation?
Show the way, Sabu. Show the way. Go, Sabu. Go, my fine, fanged, furry bastard. You magnificent bastard. Go get it, Sabu. He's
fired
gone.
up. Sabu
he
is
has
fired
blazed
up.
the way.
The squirrel of the apocalypse.
He rode a blazing doom squirrel.
Tim Blake Nelson is a good actor. He's a good actor, man. Matt G for $2 didn't have anything to say, but it's a donation that I greatly appreciate. Scott Hudson for $5. Disney is swiftly bastardizing the Force. Each new perversion canon that can never be undone. With gangrene infested Force, Star Wars ceases to be. And thank you, Scott Hudson, for $5. On that note, we will get to what Stephen Walton sent me. But before I start that, Doomcock.
Yes.
The importance of a soundtrack, of a score. You know, Watchmen has a good score. And it does. I like it. It's really, really good. To the point where I consider buying it because it's Trent Reznor. But tell me, okay. So I did not like the score of The Mandalorian. I don't think it fits Star Wars in any way. I'm not saying it's a bad musician. I'm not saying that score wouldn't be good behind an NCIS episode, but for Star Wars, it does. And I know it's supposed to be a Western. Well, I've watched a lot of Westerns. I actually like the genre quite a bit, although a lot of people on Twitter were just calling it, there's a lot of male tropes in Westerns.
Well, then of course we should discard them. Of course.
Yep. You know, and if people like the music, that's fine. I don't. I flat out don't. Does it mean like every note is bad? No, but I don't like the main theme. That I hate it. It's terrible. It's bad for Star Wars. What's your opinion of the soundtrack of The Mandalorian?
I think it's crap. I think it's inadequate. I think it says nothing. It doesn't have any atmosphere. It doesn't make a statement. It's not distinctive. It's just very bad. It does not inspire. It does not intrigue. It does not. I mean, like a score. You know, a score should underlie a scene. And the thing about a score is the same thing about a musical. You know, in a musical, the characters burst into song when they are trying to express an emotion that is too big to express by mere dialogue. In the same way, a film score kind of underlies a scene and buoys it with a meaning that is amplified. It amplifies the words because the words alone cannot achieve that same feeling in the soul. And so, you know, a smart filmmaker makes the score fit like a hand in glove, you know, with the action.
Yeah.
The end of Star Wars, the throne room scene. The other day, several months ago, I was in the car and listening on my iPod and on a random shuffle, and the throne room music to Star Wars came up. And oh my God, it was like the clouds parted, and I will never get over that sweeping sense of romance and evocative of the adventures of Robin Hood in Hollywood in its golden age, the works of Eric Korngold. You know, da 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 da. I mean, it's just like, good God. And it just goes right into that sweeping da 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 da. I mean,
and it's full. It's big. You could tell there's like the London Symphony Orchestra, which is probably one of the best on the planet. It was the best on the planet at that time. It feels big, huge. It's got scope, and that's where it's missing. Okay, that's specifically the problem I have with the Mandalorian. It sounds like a chamber orchestra. I mean, I need a. I was listening.
I said in my review, I don't know if you saw it, but I said it in the bar, in the opening scene where they have that, the noodling on the flute. I said it's Picard over in the corner playing his flute from Inner Light when he's hiding out incognito on the planet, trying to hide from CBS so they won't put him in STP. But they found him because he was stupid enough to play the flute. But it's garbage. It's terrible. It's like, they've got the Indian from the 70s crying about trash on the side of the highway, playing the soundtrack. It's like, no, this is not good. And it doesn't need to have a full orchestra. I mean, look at the incredible soundtrack to Halloween, played just by John Carpenter, based on that 5/4 drum exercise that his dad used to do when he was a kid.
That works for that. I need one. I need at least it needs to sound full to me, especially if you're going to equate it to a Western. I know some of the parts are,
but it's effective. What I'm saying is like
I love
the
John
good and the bad
Carpenter.
and the ugly. I mean, now that's bizarre. It's a bizarre score. It's very original though, and it became iconic. I mean, you can be unconventional, but not with mediocre kind of background filler crap like that.
Fruity Loops.
Yeah, I've got. There's so many great scores out there in so many different ways. I mean, Bernard Herrmann on Psycho used nothing but strings. It was just basically like a string quartet with a whole bunch of strings. So you can go your own way. But you've got to have a vision, and this show, Gary, has no vision, and it doesn't reinforce any atmosphere that they're trying to get. It doesn't amplify the message. It only distracts from it. It's almost like some guy is listening to a really bad radio station in the background.
Yep,
and they're just picking it up.
Rami Dewaldi's from Game of Thrones, his soundtrack for Westworld is unbelievable. It's so good.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's
brilliant. I never paid attention to the music because
brilliant.
I was so horrified.
Well, the first season.
Okay.
Well, now that we brought that up, our good friend, author Stephen Walton, he has a show on his channel. I think he rotates it around. Correct me if I'm wrong, Stephen. It's called The Fourth Wave. I believe they're doing it Wednesday and Saturday. He sent me a link where Bear Nerd Fun, who is one of my patrons, welcome, and I think who else was it? Immortal Coil said that they claim that the theme sounds a lot like Rocky, like Going the Distance, parts of Going the Distance. And I'm like, I thought I've kind of heard. I mean, it sounds similar. I think you'll have to go judge for yourself, but I definitely had a vibe that I had heard it before.
In what? The second episode?
In The Mandalorian, the main theme of The Mandalorian.
I haven't heard did they even have the main theme in the first episode?
I don't know. Yeah, they did because I hate it. That's the thing I hate the most. It's they use it over and over again at the end, especially when like the ship's taking off and stuff. I know some people like it, and that's fine. If you like it, fine. I might be a bit of a score snob. I did work in a record store for like 10 years. So, high fidelity was my life with more drugs.
Yeah. I love the score to Rocky. I own the score to Rocky, and I am a soundtrack nut. So the fact that I didn't hear it probably means that it's exaggerated, because I would have picked up that right away if it was.
Yeah. We'll have to compare that. We'll have to compare that. Let's get back to some chat now. Matt G, thank you again. Scott Hudson, thank you again. And John Balderdash for $5. I don't mean to shill myself on this stream. You can shill, I don't care. But Overlord, I hope you like the new property I'm working on and emailed you about. New is needed. What property are you working on? If you're going to shill yourself, you got to shill yourself, John. Tell me your title. What's going on?
Yeah, John Balderdash. I have gotten a little behind on my email. Actually, this weekend I spent a lot of time trying to catch up on all my Patreon messages. So I tell you what, I will look at it and I will get back to you. I apologize for the delay.
Yeah. Jedi Knight and friend to Alita, welcome as a new member. This is new. That's I don't. Well, you're the first member on the stream, so we'll just say Jedi Knight, friend to Alita, welcome. Carries is a new member. These are proto-molecule members. I forgot what I did Gandalf. Oh, I did proto-molecule, Geloja, and Gandalf. Those are my levels. So, and then we got Jamil's. Welcome to the Geloja level. I didn't have much time to set it up, so I'm like, Geloja. Sounds good to me. Nicholas Horton for £2. Thank you very much, and welcome to the members. Adrian is on Saturn's moon, not Earth's moon. Was that Saturn in the background? I didn't see any rings.
No, it wasn't. I think it was Mars.
I think it was Mars or Jupiter.
No, it was. Well, it might have been. I mean, they didn't really show us, but given that Dr. Manhattan went to Mars, I would think it's pretty safe to assume it was Mars.
I agree. Judah Khan, welcome as a proto-molecule member. Thank you. Psychodorf 9, $5. I think Stone Loki called it. Waiting for Nerdrotic needs a t-shirt. That's like, sure. Hopefully it's worth the wait. I think the Inquisition is worth the wait. Doomcock, don't you?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
At least tell myself that. Cash Kester for $10. Hail Gary and DC. Hate to say it, but I thought that episode, it was a good episode. Yeah, we hate to say it too. Trust me.
No, I agree.
Yeah. That makes me think I dislike the character of Angela, plus more Riley Freeman in her voice. The trailer for next week. Yes. Who's Riley Freeman? Plus more Riley Freeman in her voice. Is that her character from Leftovers or something? Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about that one.
Woke Troll for $2 says, "Hail Doomcock, hail Gary."
Hail.
Stale Heather for $2. Just saying hello to my favorite team. Thank you, Doomrotic. Back at you. Thank you, Stellar. Casey Fife for $5. The darlings send our love to you both. Thanks, Gary. Eris sends her love. She can't be here tonight. Well, why? Why is she not here? I'm very upset about that. You need to be here. This is the place to be. No, it's okay, Casey. Thank you. Chris Stanley, a new member. Welcome. Chris Persia, a new member. Welcome. Warren Smith, a new member. All proto-molecules. Oh, wait. Chris Stanley's a Geloja. You got to find the P corner, though. Larry's a new member. Geloja. Daniel, Geloja. Lost Jedi, Geloja. Kevin Riggs, Geloja. Sorry, Lost Jedi was proto-molecule. Nina Fabiano is proto-molecule. Rob Slevin is Geloja. And then we have Blasted Heath as Geloja. Fizzenthorpe for $10. The guys on EFAP just read through a version of the entire Rise of Skywalker plot. Reddit spoilers. Yes, I got all my work done today and was able to listen to some of it. Jeremy, and I'm like a proud papa Doomcock. RK Outpost. I told him he had it for YouTube. And when we did a meetup in San Diego, and he's doing great with his channel, and I knew it. Ryan, you're awesome. Characters were thrown away without explanation. It will leave audiences just flustered as The Last Jedi. Well, if that is indeed, I love in these Reddit theories, Doomcock, they do mention that the ending could change due to reshoots. They do mention that in those Reddit. So, but the ending is this is going to be Game of Thrones all over again.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's going to be Game of Thrones all over again. I think the Reddit theories, they sound good. I don't know for sure. Okay. but Reddit has been correct before. They were dead on with Terminator. They were dead on with Game of Thrones season 7. Well, God, 6, 7, and 8. So maybe even before that. I know the Free Folk was dropping stuff about season 6 that was dead on. So I don't know, man. Disaster.
Yeah, I've gotten some confirmation, so I'm pretty comfortable that stuff is going on.
Yeah. Well, in the I mean, like the Reddit theories have been out for a month, so I feel very comfortable talking about them here. And the end is so. There's going to be questions that I don't think they're going to end everything definitively because it's J.J. Abrams. I mean, I fully expect that. How the Emperor comes back is so dumb. I mean, it's just dumb. Ichibaka's right. Disney Star Wars is dumb. And I don't know why they're doing this. It completely undoes. The minute the Emperor comes back on screen, all right, I'm gonna tell you one right now that was in the spoilers that just okay. So the Emperor always knew that Darth, or he always knew the way they insinuate it in the spoilers that the Emperor always knew that Darth could be turned due to his family bond with Luke. So he had a contingency plan. So if it's like, Vader he was always going to make that decision anyway. So it's not really that special what Luke did, Doomcock. Right. It's not special at all because Vader was always gonna, go back to his son because of that stupid family bond. So he had to make his backup plan, I guess, in a giant cube. Fucking started on this. And so it's completely pointless. And honestly, it is. The minute Palpatine comes back, it's pointless.
Yes, it is.
The sacrifice is done. The original trilogy is pissed on, and your past is pissed on. And you know what? It was all done to squeeze a few more dollars out of desperation because they knew people were pissed. The Last Jedi did alienate a lot of people, and there is some data floating around out there that points to this not going down. This isn't going to go the way you expect it to go, Disney. It's going to subvert your expectations, I dare say.
I think it is. I think my video tomorrow is going to stir up a lot, and I have a different explanation.
Scenario.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
It'll be very interesting.
There's your tease. There's your tease. Just let me we can talk when you're gonna, because I want to,
it's gonna be big. It's like
I don't want to drop mine when you drop yours.
Okay.
So just let me know, because I can wait a day. I've been waiting months, so I can wait a day. It's no big deal. I can do stuff around the house or make another video.
Well, that's true.
Wow, that'd be great. True. I can clean my room. It looks good here, folks.
I need to clean my whole house, my whole life.
Yeah, me too. Right now it's we're in transition. Echo Watt for $2 says Looking Glass should have been the main character. Shame. He should have been. And listen, people are going to come out of the woodwork going, you just don't like Regina King because she's black. No, she's fine. She's a good actress. But she's 48. I'm sorry, she's 48. I would say the same about a dude. 48 dude, you bet 48-year-old dude, go work out. You know what? Mackenzie Davis in Terminator, a movie that I hated every second of it, but she was the best thing in it. And you know what? Her boyish Justin Bieber look, when they talk, and I know why they did it, but they made it believable. That was the one believable thing from the film, and the fact that she went and got ripped was I actually respect it. I do. And you know what? Brie Larson didn't do that. Brie Larson looked like she went shopping before she forget that pushing a Jeep with her back legs. You know, my 14-year-old kid could do that. Okay. Come on. Probably better than her too. Yeah, he probably could because he's bigger. But go work out. Tim Blake Nelson, at least he worked out a little bit.
Right.
But he's not getting in any fisticuffs with anybody. And I don't know. It's still, there's within this episode, there's still a lot. It's just surrounded by crap. It's a candy coated turd. That's all it is. Or candy in turd.
But I have to say that actress is very good. She was
She is.
fantastic on a series called *Halt and Catch Fire*, which
Mackenzie
I
Davis. Oh yeah.
highly recommend. It was a great show, really great. So before she played Justin Bieber, Justin Bieber, she.
I know. I'm 12. I'm gonna laugh at shit like that. I don't care.
Yeah, that was cool.
You said Bieber.
Cool.
I said Justin Bieber.
But yeah, she was very good.
No, she was good. She was in something else I watched too.
Oh, she was in a Blade Runner 2049, which I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't know a lot of people did too. I thought it was a lot of people walking very slowly down hallways.
In slow motion,
but at least they weren't talking about their feelings. Stellar Heather, thank you for the membership. Welcome to the Proto Molecule. Marion, thank you, and welcome to Nerdrotic. And my welcome message is welcome. You are now welcome. You are now in Nerdrotic. We apologize for the inconvenience. Saruin of House Roundhead, $4.99. Are you still watching his Dark Materials? I didn't start watching it. If so, what do you think of the first episode? Also, Doomcock, I live in Maryland, close to Baltimore. He does. I met him, Doomcock. He's a cool dude.
Really?
Yeah, he took me to the Joker.
Nice.
Me and Jeremy went and saw the Joker with Ruin of House Roundhead in New York. It was a great experience. Wish you were there. But I don't know. Did you watch his? I don't like. I'm not into it's the Golden Compass, right?
That's what I've heard. I don't know anything about it, and I haven't watched it. I just haven't had a chance.
Yeah, I wasn't super into the concept of it, but I'll probably should try it though.
I don't even know what it is.
Chat, I don't know. What do you think? It looks like what basically it's fantasy for atheists, right? Isn't it supposed to be like kind of anti-C.S. Lewis, anti-religion? It's like, is it another anti-Christian thing? And they did that in this too. In this episode, they believe me, it was woke. We're good, but they really pointed out that all the Christian churches look the same and stuff like that. Listen, I'm not even a religious person, okay, but I'm so sick of them picking on Christians. That you got to pick on one, you got to pick on everybody, and they won't pick on everybody. So then don't pick on anybody. I
agree.
But Hollywood loves to pick that low-hanging fruit.
Yes, they do.
Hang on. It jumped on me. Dang it. Sorry, man.
That's okay. Speaking of low-hanging fruit. Oh, never mind.
What? Okay, while I'm looking for this, any guesses on the box office for Rise of Skywalker?
I am definitely gonna say below $1 billion, except there's no way to track it because Disney will lie or purchase blocks of tickets, whatever they need to do to change the perception and make it a success. So I don't trust them to be accurate, and but I will say definitely it has a chance of bombing. It really does.
It does. I'm kind of crafting. I don't know. It's still working around my head, but there's data out there that you can look at. That anybody can look at. That you can tell if a movie or a TV show is doing well or going to do well. And Hollywood's starting to take this data seriously because it's turning out to be like spot on. So yeah, I'll tell you about it after show.
Oh, okay.
Well, I want to save it for video. I want to save it for video. Looking Glass should be the main character. Thank you. And Lori Wilson, welcome to Proto Molecule. Cornelius Bruniz for $2. I love the memberberry pills. I know, right? And they're called nostalgia. So I'm waiting for them to use this against the fans or something like that. Remember the last episode was like, if you don't like my story, write your own.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have written my own, and you suck.
Yeah. Doomcock's all challenge accepted. Emery Kalame, man burns are not. What is it? Man buns are not top gang. Oh, okay. So they were like part of a gang then. That's why I had to ask if it was a Jersey thing or something like that, because they were not doing that in California. So thank you for
Wow.
letting me know. I
did not
didn't.
know
Yeah,
that.
I did not grow up in Jersey, but thank you for the knowledge. Jay Paula 821 for $5. Apparently, Games Workshop's bringing back old Fantasy Warhammer, which is funny after they tried to delete it with Age of Sigmar, which is still lacking. I have no idea what you just said. Is that like a Warhammer 40K thing?
I don't know.
It might be. Well, I mean, that's funny. I'm sorry. I bet you made a great point there. That was Chinese to me. Sorry.
I'm not really versed in Warhammer. So
yeah, Big Fat Man for $5. What was wrong with Zack Snyder's Watchmen ending? Dr. Manhattan being the culprit seemed more poetic.
The problem with the Watchmen ending is it's not what Alan Moore wrote, and Alan Moore is Watchmen. That's it. End of story. It's like saying, oh, what's wrong with the Bible if you make a happy ending for Adam and Eve? It's because that's not what the fucking Bible said. It's that the God authored the Bible, so only God can revise it. And it's the same thing with, Watchmen. In the Watchmen universe, Alan Moore is God, damn it. And I'm telling you, if he didn't write it, it didn't happen. And so for Zack Snyder to just come in his infinite fucking wisdom and say, oh, I don't like that. And I'm Zack Snyder. I did 300, so I'll just do whatever I want. I think a space squid would look silly. I'm not comfortable with that, so I'm just going to make it to Dr. Manhattan. Fuck you. You didn't write Watchmen. Watchmen is not yours, Zack. It's not yours. Bottom line. And I am sympathetic to you. I have said that I want to see a Justice League cut of Zack Snyder's out there.
Release the Snyder cut.
Yes, out of respect to the creator. But it is not respect. You are not the creator of Watchmen. You're a lamprey sucking on it. You're a leech attached to it. You went ahead and you took that material and you trashed it because you didn't have the guts to do it the right way. Or you didn't like it or whatever. So that's what's wrong with Zack Snyder's ending. Zack Snyder's ending sucks. Okay? Zack Snyder's ending sucks. No, I don't think it's fucking funny. Like, nobody has the nerve to ask me that. What's wrong with Zack Snyder's ending? It's not Zack Snyder's thing to end. It's fucking Alan Moore's thing to end. Alan Moore is the only author of Watchmen. And if you can't be bothered to adapt Alan Moore's Watchmen, don't make it. You went 90% of the way on that marathon and then you threw up and you crawled into the bushes, Zach. That's my opinion. He did not make Watchmen. He blew it. He failed. That's it. That's it. Okay? I hope that answers your question.
I think that answers the question. I still didn't mind it, but
I mean that just fucking triggered me. It's like, oh, what's wrong with that? That's what's fucking wrong with it. Okay, do I need to make it clearer? It's that simple. It's so simple. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You don't have to apologize.
Simple.
It's that simple.
Damn it. Doomcock has his standards. I mean, I liked it, but it's not Watchmen. I don't see it as Watchmen. I see it as a movie that's an adaptation.
Yes,
but it's not Watchmen.
But it's not.
This is where they, my last video, I put in Peter Jackson, who is a god of adaptation, in my opinion, for 3 films called Lord of the Rings. And he talked about, and I'm going to put this in a lot of videos because it needs just to be on. I think every creator needs to listen what he said. I didn't want to put my baggage into this film. I didn't want to fill it with my messages. I wanted to fill it with Tolkien's messages. That should be anybody who's adapting anything should learn as much as they can about the person who wrote it. And I mean, everything, not just what they wrote about that story. Find out what the favorite ice cream was, what their politics were. Find out everything so you are educated into doing the best job, because you're not going to make it perfect because it's not by that person. Alan Moore is not going to work with you ever. It's best not to adapt anything, Alan Moore. And pretty much, I don't know what else they could adapt, to be honest with you. I think they've kind of ruined, done their business on it. But that's what you need to keep in mind is that person's messages, not yours. If you want to put your messages in something, make something original. Stay the hell out of the franchises. The problem, the only person who screws up the laws of canon, unfortunately, is George Lucas himself. Because he goes in and jacks up his own stuff with changing the Greedo scene again.
I know, but then I had to. Well, he didn't change it the third time. I mean, that was Disney.
Disney said it was him, so it was Disney. I don't know.
I thought it was Disney. I mean, what's he got to do with it? I don't know. But the thing is, that's what made me introduce my fifth law of canon, which was that because it is the fans deserve to participate in what is canon because it's our culture. I mean, it's a two-way street. So on rare occasions, I think the fans can can veto, override what the creator has done when it's clearly a mistake that was done on a whim. George Lucas thought, oh, we can do this. Let's do this. And he did the thing with Han, like walking over the tail and thought it was so clever. It looked like crap. And so the fans can reject that.
Mark Hamill said something interesting concerning the Last Jedi. I don't think any creative believes this, but he says once the movie's locked, it belongs to the fans. Really? Because that's not what I'm hearing from Disney. So once Last Jedi was locked and the fans resoundingly rejected it, did it still belong to them? I mean, I don't get that logic, especially with the abuse we got from Lucasfilm, not from Mark Hamill in particular. Although I'm not as big of a Mark Hamill fan
Mark Hamill
today as I was, say, a couple months ago, considering some news I've heard. But that's life. That's life. That's why I don't idolize movie stars. They're people, very fallible people. Penn Farm Girl, what's up? It's good to see you. Welcome to the membership. David Dahl for $1.99. Doom Squirrel is escaping. Watchmen was good. This episode was good. It was good because of Tim Blake Nelson and the character development. It still had some woke moments in it, though. It did. Russian sleep incel reporting for duty, my lords. KB, a sleeper incel. Well, we have one. That's what we all are. We've graduated from Russian bots to Russian incels, and that's going to be the argument against critics of Rise of Skywalker. Doomcock. Thank you, KBDN. Julie Day for £5. If Tennant is reviled by Jody, or if Tennant is reviled by Jody, I shall be bloody enraged at utter presumption. Love Doctor Who. It's been done. The damage has been done to Doctor Who. I don't know what further damage they can do.
Well, I have a source, a very good source, who was telling me that this was in the works, that there's going to be a special, that they were going to have Jodie Whittaker basically repudiate all of her past male incarnations. And the only one that had been dumb enough to sign up, or that was her friend or whatever, was David Tennant. That they tried to get Matt Smith, and he said, And they tried also to get, oh, for fuck's sake, what's his name? The last one.
Capaldi.
Yeah. And he said, oh, I'm too busy with the Suicide Squad sequel, so I can't. He used that as an excuse.
Capaldi. I mean, I love Capaldi, but he participated in Twice Upon a Time, which was essentially, they did that to the first Doctor. They brought David Bradley back as I don't know if you watched the Christmas special, but they brought David Bradley back and they basically made him a sexist and a misogynist, always getting chewed out by Bill, who, in case you didn't hear, she was a lesbian.
For God's sake.
Yeah. And it was awful. So I can totally see them doing something like that. Absolutely.
That was the news that I received, and I'm standing by it unless they change their minds. I mean, I got a lot of information that I can't release and won't release to, protect sources, but holy crap, man, it's bad over there. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, it's going to be worse. It's going to get worse. Trust me. So much.
Oh,
worse.
Yeah.
And that's not counting what's coming out on Series 12. So last year, I was joking. I found the episode too. I was joking. It was after the demons of the Punjab, and they went to the Indian partition, and it was an episode about a Muslim marrying a Hindu, which wasn't okay during the partition. So a brother ends up killing a brother, and it's like but if you criticize this episode, you got destroyed. I mean, my comment section were terrible. Bulls Trek's comment sections were terrible. So I joked, I'm all, hey, what are we gonna go to one of those bad places in Germany where people didn't come back, and they're going there for season 12. They're getting predictable. It's so predictable. It's what we talked about in the Star Trek review. It's like we can predict the wokeness now. We can almost make a game of it. Orville Nation, thanks for joining up. Admiral OF Doom, thanks for the $5. I am glad you are covering The Mandalorian. I am spending all my streaming money on you guys. Oh, thanks. And that is much more worth it. Just an observation. That is a nice thing to say. That is awesome. I saw your I saw your review on the Mandalorian. You were like, meh, the Mandalorian, you called it?
I called it the Mandalorian.
Yes.
That was my take on it. I tried to do the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I mean, there were some good things about it. But largely, honest to God, I was quite bored. Even the action sequences I felt were by rote and predictable, and I was never in any kind of suspense. So yeah.
I see it as it's a good live action cartoon. It's got cartoon character development. And it's starting to feel like a movie chopped into bits now, because the last episode wasn't as good as the first episode was good. The next episode wasn't as good. I still objectively think it's good. I'm not a Star Wars fan anymore, so I could give two poops what happens. And I don't care. It's not enough to bring me back. And I think it's kind of a hoodwink. I think the short episodes, I know a lot of people like them, but like that this might be what you get from now on, 30-minute episodes, and they work in some things. I think Cobra Kai is half an hour, right? And Ash vs. Evil Dead was a half an hour, and that worked too. But I was expecting a little more for, a $10 million an episode. I was expecting more character development. And it looks like it's just voice acting. I don't know if that's Pedro Pascal actually under that suit the whole time. I think he's probably just in Doom Patrol. Brendan Fraser plays Robot Man. He voices the character, and then occasionally he's in an episode. Like he's in like 3 or 4 episodes. I think that's probably what they're doing here. So it doesn't really star Pedro Pascal, does it? He's just
his voice,
but he doesn't talk very much. Nick Nolte has a bigger part, to be honest with you, as the Ugnaught, and I always forget the name, but it's so far it's good. I think it plays well to Star Wars fans, but I'm going to bring up this thing, and I asked this because I really don't know, and nobody will really know. How big is it? Like, is it meeting their expectations? Is it getting to the normies? Because that's the important part of this. The normies have to be watching this, or is it just Star Wars fans watching it? Because it seems like, at least what I see on YouTube, is the interest is decent for Star Wars, but not like through the roof, which I think it kind of should be. But maybe
it should be if it was really good. But I mean, one of the things in my review that I said specifically was that this is not a good project for Disney to be doing right now. And the reason for it is, where's the fun? I mean, just straight up, where is the fun? Remember Star Wars, Empire, Return of the Jedi, they were all fun.
Yeah.
They were all fun. They had a kind of childlike wonder in a galaxy far, far away. It was sometimes goofy. It was sometimes dramatic. It was sometimes scary, but it was fun as hell. And The Mandalorian is kind of like a dystopian, violent, but not that violent. I mean, it's not over the top enough to be really interesting and hard boiled, like some kind of Taxi Driver of the future or something. It's, it's mature. But when I saw Salacious Crumb like roasting on the spit, or a reasonable facsimile thereof, just like there's a reasonable facsimile of Boba Fett and a reasonable facsimile of IG-88,
Huh.
it's just like, this is an ugly universe.
Red-eyed Jawas.
Yeah, it's just no damn fun at all. There's not a laugh. There's not a personality. And the thing that they need now more than anything else is fun. And they blew it. They blew it. So it's more of the dark bullshit that never was part of Star Wars. And I know that there would be parts of the universe that are dark, but this was the wrong time to show it. What they needed to do was come up with a series that was fun, and then they could have done that series next. And it would have been a well-rounded kind of a thing. But right now it's just, you go from drab to dreary to, dystopian. And is that Star Wars now? Really? Is that it? Because I haven't seen any goddamn fun in this thing for a long, long time.
I don't know if Disney's Marvel's capable of fun, but Marvel, I mean, Disney is encroaching on Marvel, but Marvel started out somewhere else, and they were fun. Disney used to know fun. I don't know if Hollywood's capable of it. I think some people in Hollywood think fun is corny, and everything has to be really dark and sophisticated, which this thing isn't, by the way. I mean, it's got like funny moments. The Jawas, chanting egg and stuff. I laughed. That was funny. I liked it. But I agree with you. I think that has been surgically removed from Star Wars. Was fun. Dude, how fun is The Last Jedi? Boy, that's fun. Wow, what a fun movie I had. What a fun time I had with that piece of crap. No, I don't know if they're capable, because I watched a film last night with Mrs. Neurotic that I thought was fun, and it was good, and it was very simple. And of course, the NPCs out there are calling it out because it had a housewife in the 60s, and she wasn't designing the Shelby car for Ford instead of Shelby. And it was Ford versus Ferrari, the kind of movie that's kind of shocking that they're coming out with now. And it's a biopic. It's about Shelby, but it's actually mainly about Ken Miles, the driver. And I know nothing about Le Mans or Le Mans or whatever it was called. And even though I worked in the auto industry, I didn't care about cars. And I know nothing about these guys. Christian Bale was freaking brilliant in it, and it was a fun movie. It portrayed a good dad. But within this film, it shows Ford trying to build, Shelby starts, they want to build this race car, and Ford's trying to do it by committee. And there's a point where Shelby goes, listen, we can't do this by committee. It's got to be me. It's got to be me in charge, my creative vision. And then, I'll report to the person at the top with what I have come up with. And that's the only way this thing's going to work. And guess what? It worked that way. Same thing with Star Wars. You need a single creative person, whoever that is, who loves Star Wars. You cannot create Star Wars by committee. It's going to be soulless. And you can't, doing test screenings. And believe me, for the people who are trying to debunk my friend Doomcock here on test screenings, I think it's semantics that they're using. I think maybe they're taking that's you reported. They were taking pieces of the movie and screening it for people. That's not technically a test screening. Or the reshoots are pickups. It's all verbiage. And that's, it could be true. It could be not true. We don't exactly know, but that's what Doomcock said. You can't make something good that way. It's impossible. So, and then plus, and that's not even counting all the agenda they're trying to put in there. It's almost impossible without that. And then they want to do that on top. It's just too many damn cooks in the kitchen. And then you have J.J. Abrams, who's the worst chef ever. So,
yeah, he's a sui chef.
Yeah,
supposed to a sous chef.
I don't. But with the Mandalorian, Favreau's good. And a lot of people like Filoni. I like Filoni. I'm kind of in the middle. I know the EU guys really don't like, or some, I'm not hashtag not all, but I listen to Ryan and stuff, and they don't like what Filoni did with, I guess, Clone Wars and Rebels. I like Clone Wars. Rebels was okay. It got a little silly at some point, having Mandalorian graffiti artists, and come on. I didn't
watch it, so I don't know.
Yeah. You're better off. Fixie Clary for $4.99. The Disney censoring thing has me concerned. Oh, it's happening. That's Fixie Clary, that is a very good concern. Likelihood of Disney censoring their own films, Doomcock.
Oh, they're doing it. I mean, I already did a video.
Yep.
I've done a couple of videos about it. That they are, I mean, I said they are yanking Fox movies from distribution. They are outright just locking them into the vault. They are reneging on deals to festivals and things where they were going to show things like Die Hard or Alien or Aliens or Princess Bride. Just saying, they're locked in the vault now. And then they went ahead and outright said that quietly that they were, editing for content some of their movies, putting disclaimers on it for Disney Plus saying, well, this is from a time where everyone was racist and sexist. So,
Yeah. And it's like, we need people to actually see that time so they know it's there and it's real. And we've moved on. But this, oh God, that bugs the hell out of me. That is bad. That's bad, Doomcock.
It is horrible, and it's abominable, and they have no respect for film history. They have no respect for culture. It's that's the future. That's the future, and that's why I say, gather ye physical media while ye may. I mean, or if you are sailing the high seas, get some industrial size rods and reels. I don't do that, but I don't frown on anyone who does, but I don't do that.
We are not here to judge. That's right. Exactly. Right. But no, you have inspired me to, I ran out and got my hands on as much Doctor Who physical media as I can. There's still a few out there that I don't have, and there's some they haven't produced because they freaking recycled them, and some shows are lost forever, which is sad because I haven't seen like all the old episodes. I mean, because some don't exist, which sucks. But yeah, if for stuff you truly love, get just get a DVD, get something so you can keep and see the original, because it's going to be the original Star Wars, but except with everything. That's why I'm so glad I kept my VHS copies of Star Wars, because I have them. I mean, I need to find a VCR that works, but I have them so I can watch them if I want to.
Yeah.
Dude. Okay. Not sure for $4.99 says keep it up. Says keep it up with a little emoji. He's like pumping iron. I like that. Scotty S for $9.99. Hail Gary and Doomcock, follower and Tulsan here. Well, greetings, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I am sorry they are representing your entire town like you're a bunch of Okie-ists. I resent the racist Okie premise of Wokeman. I'm not surprised. I bet you there's a lot of people in Tulsa who aren't exactly fired up about Hollywood's representation, but hey, don't take it personal. They look at the whole entire Midwest that way. We get softball hail, but no squid. Despite the glass, the Okie has been the best character development. Yes. Sorry, go on.
Party Balloon, absolutely. It's now my favorite character. I was kind of dubious, and we did find out, at least in this one, that he is not aligned with the 7th Cavalry. No. I always thought he was one of the guys inside the police department that was corrupt, but it's not him.
No, they try to make him out as some psychopath, but he's traumatized. He's got the PTSD, which I know it's also a trope. Like your white characters have to be evil or PTSD or evil. And it turns out that Sheriff Judd was bad too. So that's
right. Well,
that got confirmed.
He had his clan outfit and everything. So,
but he was working with several cavalry to kind of keep them in line. Working for the senator. So again, all the people in charge who are good or in power are women, and well, actually, I don't know, was the senator really in charge, or is that other woman? Because she seems to be working the portal. So the one that lured him there, was she in charge?
Well, she is Amanda Greystone, so from Caprica. So I would assume that she is.
Oh, that's where I saw her.
Yeah,
yes,
Amanda Greystone from Caprica. She was crazy. She mouthed off about the big secret that totally torpedoed her husband's company. Thanks, hun. Yeah. By the way, dude, I am sitting right next I'm sandwiched between two Cylon statues. This is so cool. I got this the other day, $14.99 a statue used. But they were sealed.
Oh,
It's like the evolution of the Cylon, and I've got two of them. I've got the Galactica, the original Battlestar Cylon with the visor to my left, and then I've got the prototype one, the super cool prototype one from Caprica on my right. I'll have to send you a picture. It's so
please do.
Maybe I'll send you a picture and you could put it up for.
Send it to me. Send it to me on Twitter. I liked Caprica.
I did too.
I liked that show. I thought it was an excellent concept, and I think people just didn't get it. It was really cool. Protogasm. Oh man, I can't read. Sorry. For $10, Nerdrotic. You may both like the TV show Channel Zero, supernatural horror anthology, 6-episode seasons, one season of which stars Rutger Hauer. I advise to start with seasons 1 and 2 if interested. There you go.
What is it?
Channel Zero. I heard that was pretty good.
I've never.
It's a horror anthology series.
Huh. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, but I know I've heard of a lot of people have recommended. I'll check it out. I like that stuff. And Rutger Hauer is cool as hell. Orville Nation for $5. Doomrotic with a flex. That's awesome. Admiral OF Doom became a member to the proto-molecule level. Welcome. J25, $5.55. Need more rock bands doing scores. Nine Inch Nail, Toto, and Queen. Wang Chung did a good one too. Okay, don't forget To Live and Die in LA. That was a damn good soundtrack. What did Toto do? I'm forgetting.
Dune.
Thank you. God dang it. Tyrone Beard for Australian $2. Wokeman. It can go F itself from what I've seen. Don't hold back.
I agree.
I totally agree too. But don't hold back. I mean, you speak your truth. Which is actually your opinion, but it's your truth. Mike Brown for $2. Hi guys, you missed my chats last week. Which ones where?
Actually, I've got to do a square up on that. So don't worry. It's coming. I have to do a square up on Inquisition from I think it was last week.
It was last week. Yeah. Yeah, man, he'll square it up, Mike.
It'll happen, man. It's coming. I'm sorry. I've with this YouTube crap going on, things have been kind of busy, and I've been worrying about this stuff. So I apologize for the delay.
Yeah, well, maybe if I can join you, if I have time, I'll join you, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
no
that.
Problem. Miguel Olmo for $1.99. Black Sails has a good soundtrack opening. It does. It actually does. Thank you for the $1.99. James for $2. Mandalorian score is poke out your eardrum bad. It is. And we're talking. My perspective is for Star Wars. It doesn't work for Star Wars for me. But my perspective of Star Wars is different than somebody, there's a whole generation out there who's probably never seen what we saw in the theater. And there's a few generations who did not feel the awe that we got to see in the theater when we saw it for the first time. It was just, I can't even describe it. I wish I could bottle it up and give it to Star Wars fans, but it's Disney. And I don't expect Disney to do that. Okay. That I don't. And I don't expect a John Williams score. Okay, that's another argument that we can set aside. Right. I think you can emulate him or a fuller sound with more emotion. You're Disney. I think you can have your pick of the litter of what you want as far as composers out there. And they decided to
go with Picard from the Inner Light, sitting in the corner. I'm trying to hide. Well, then why are you playing the flute, idiot?
I'm composing Star Wars music. Leave me alone. Star Trek Picard, folks, as we predicted, was pitched as Logan, because Alex Kurtzman is not original. So how did Logan end, Doomcock? What happened to Logan?
Well, spoiler, Logan ain't coming back again no more.
Yep.
That's what it was. But it was beautiful. I saw it in
was.
black and white, and it was absolutely fantastic in black and white.
Ooh.
Yeah, they had a special screening. I mean, on the big screen, and it was a black and white print, and specially timed by the director. And God almighty, I mean, having it in black and white made it seem all the more real and all the more documentary. And it was amazing. I heard that they were releasing the black and white version on the discs. Did they not?
No, I heard they were too. I don't know if they did though.
It was worth seeing, guys. I mean, it changed the whole film. I swear to God.
Yeah. I got. If I can check that out, I will. I like that movie, but it's so damn depressing. I've only seen it once. I mean, I saw it once. I'm like, that was great. I don't think I ever want to watch it again.
No, I've seen movies like that.
But I can highly recommend Ford versus Ferrari. I thought it was James Mangold. There you go, director of Logan. He did a good job. Yeah,
very good.
Riff Magos, thank you for joining the Geloja level. Hecatat's daughter for $1.99. Patron versus join, which is better for you monetarily? I mean, I'll leave it up to you. Actually, if it's connected to YouTube, I feel safer because Patreon censors speech. So I have a subscribe star as well. But whatever you choose, I am good with. I appreciate anything. But I don't know. Yeah. We have different options. Why don't you weigh your options, Hecatat's daughter? But thank you. Thank you. Jason M. Welcome to the Geloja level. Honestly, I think YouTube got a fire in their ass and turned on everybody's join buttons because I think this is going to counteract the adverse effect from the ad revenue that is coming January 1st, which is going to affect absolutely everybody, no matter what. Myself right now, I'm not worried about my channel getting deleted, but I mean, maybe I'm being stupid by not being worried. But I am working on it. I've got options, and I actually have some juice with somebody that and I don't usually ask favors like this, but I'm going to I have some access through Mrs. Nerdrotic, and we're going to try to pull that access and see what we can find out. And if we do, I'll share it with the world. Believe me. Winslow Friday. For $5. Dr. Manhattan was known as a U.S. asset in universe. The world would likely blame the U.S. instead of uniting, a la Chernobyl and the USSR. That's the way. I don't know. Did you ever I'm sure you did. What was your theory of what happened after Watchmen? What was your headcanon for that, Doomcock?
I would imagine that probably the superpowers got together and started talking about dealing with extra dimensional threats like this, and probably, started doing joint research on interdimensional portals and things like that. And also ways to shield the effects of that kind of thing. It probably just opened their eyes to the fact that there's a larger universe out there filled with horrors that they don't understand, even beyond the menace of the space squid. Just in general, the menaces from the unknown are real and they are out there. And I think it would have united humanity in a way that nothing else really would.
I took a different approach in my headcanon. That they started working together, but they were also so scared that they started working on interdimensional technology, and they eventually figured out it was bullshit. And humanity will always find another way to fight each other, and I guess that's what this show is supposed to be about. I find it very interesting that after the whole bringing everybody together feel at the end, we go the ist route. I thought that's still, it just doesn't work for me at all within the story. And it's supposed to be the big, if we're emulating Watchmen, there must be another threat out there that's going to end humanity. What's that threat? If they're devising another plan, why? Doomcock?
Nixon Town.
What's
Nixon
the point?
Town.
Because of that one little trailer park.
Well, it's a trailer park from hell. It's a trailer park of racism and crackers. And I think that it's a great danger to all civilization. And so they got to go ahead and figure out how they can get rid of it.
And this was where it falls. That's where it falls apart right there. This fucking story.
Because why can't they just, bomb it? Well, I mean, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hell, if it, maybe it's many trailer parks in Tulsa. They could just, wipe Tulsa out. So why do we need a big scientific plan?
Right? Or maybe, a different story you could have taken is the elites technically got away with one, and maybe they think they can get away with another one, and they can, I forgot what the name of it Jones had for it when all the elites are going to reduce the population. That was the name.
They're going to cull the population.
Yes. And maybe they go that route, but no, Tulsa. Sorry, person in Tulsa, but center of the universe. No.
You are marked. You are marked, Tulsa. I'm saying you're not doing so fine, Oklahoma.
Poor Jed is dead, though.
That's right.
Lady Miss, $5. I haven't watched the Watchmen show yet here because it's fun, and I may be wrong, but your reviews are probably better than the show. I think they are, but
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And the talk, speaking to you guys in the chat, and Doomcock is much more entertaining. Trust me. Quarter Black Garrett, welcome, my friend, to the proto molecule level. You're awesome, by the way. We need to talk soon. 200-watt studio for $5. Gary DC, the Mondo fanfare is totally the Creed fanfare. The same composer, and looks like he cribbed himself. So it's the same composer.
What, Bill Conti?
No, for Creed. For the Creed.
Oh, for Creed. Oh, no, yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen Creed, so I can't speak to that. So if they're talking about Creed, well, that's one thing. I don't know Creed. If you're talking about Rocky, that's another thing.
Well, do you think Creed emulated Rocky, and then the composer? Well, I mean, composers sometimes they do. I mean, there are parts of the 48 Hours soundtrack that sound eerily similar to Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I mean, like eerily similar. So yeah,
interesting.
And they're the same composer. Techno Babbler for $5. Taika Waititi is directing the last episode of The Mandalorian. Can he take it seriously? I liked Ragnarok, but it seems to turn everything into a parody. I saw a lot of that humor in the second episode, Doomcock.
Did you?
I don't know if you watched the second episode yet.
I have not seen the second episode yet, so I can't comment.
Oh, well, it's only 32 minutes long.
Well, that's a relief.
And that's with credits. If you take out the credits, it's 28 minutes.
Well, then I can squeeze that into my busy schedule over oatmeal and coffee in the morning.
Exactly.
Sure. Why not?
Exactly.
Why not? Should I do a review, or is it pointless? Did you do a review? I don't know.
I did a live review, but the interest has waned. It's like,
I think
people were curious for the first episode. My viewer count, my live stream went a little too long. Okay, so it's partially my fault, but 50% drop, and that's across the board. That's with other YouTubers. If I ever think it's me, I check out I have an app that has competitors, and I can see how people who are doing similar videos are doing to me, and I do it for TV shows, and it's partially to see how these TV shows are doing. It's not necessarily, I don't care about me, but I can see how Star Trek, how much actual interest there is in Star Trek Discovery. I can see how much actual interest there is in Doctor Who based on YouTube metrics. And I think, well, actually, I know Hollywood is using that too, because there was an article in the Hollywood Reporter 2 days ago about it, that they're using that. And for example, Force Awakens, now some time has passed, but it's at 104 million views for the first trailer. The Last Jedi had 55 million views to date. Again, time has passed, so you got to take about 20%, 25% off that, because believe me, the views die off as time goes on, like way down. The Last Jedi is sitting at 25 million views, 26 or not. Rise of Skywalker. For example, the Joker has, I think it's twice the viewers, 3 times the viewers than Rise of Skywalker. 75.
So you're talking about, so what metric are they using?
They're using YouTube metrics.
Really?
They're watching views, and they're basing, and they can see, well, they have hard data. If they see the view for the trailer and other trailers, and I guarantee you they're also checking out people who are reviewing the episodes, who are reviewing the movies. And you can see, like, Emergency Awesome. You go to Emergency Awesome, and he covers pretty much everything MCU, Star Wars, Game of Thrones. To tell you how well Doctor Who is doing, Emergency Awesome stopped covering it quite right around when Jodie, right when it started getting woke, he tailed off. And he's not political or anything. It just wasn't garnering him enough views to work on the show. The interest went down. So that's a metric that you can use, that there's a big YouTuber who was covering Doctor Who pretty thoroughly, and he doesn't find it that interesting, or it's not worth it anymore because there's no interest in the show, or there's not as much.
Right.
And well, the Watchmen, he covers the Watchmen. His Watchmen views are way lower than most of his other things. Like I guess his average is 300,000 views, 400,000 views. Watchmen, I think it sits around 100,000 views for his, what has he got? 2 million subscribers. So there's no real interest here on Watchmen. And the Mandalorian, it's decent for Star Wars. Like I said, it's above it's above Watchmen, it's above Doctor Who, but it's not Star Wars level. So right. Star Wars is its own level. And the minute Star Wars becomes equal to Star Trek or Doctor Who, then what's the point of it? Because you just paid billions for that, not millions. You expect that stockholders and bankers at Disney are not going to accept the law of diminishing returns for their billion-dollar property.
Well, they're going to have to.
Yep.
They're just going to have to. It doesn't matter. If I just to say, hey, I'm just not going to accept gravity, doesn't mean I'm going to be flying with the crows next week. There's just some things you can't really dictate with your belief. It's just because they're going to happen the way it happens.
There you go. The Big Red Bear for Canadian $5 says the original ending to Watchmen was about as good as a squid cum bucket. I don't like Zach, but his ending was 1,000% better. Well, you are entitled to your opinion, and
you're wrong. But there you go.
Yeah. The comic and the movie are 2 different things to me. The comic is it's a different medium. It cannot be emulated. That's why I think it's the perfect medium. It's the Reese's peanut butter cup of entertainment. Okay. Cause you got books, like the old Reese's ad where a guy was eating some chocolate, inexplicably walking down in a park. And then another guy inexplicably was eating a can of peanut butter. And then they ran into each other, and the chocolate bar went into the peanut butter, and you got a peanut butter cup. That's what a comic book is. Except somebody who's walking down the park with a painting, and another one's with a book, and they run into each other and they make the perfect medium. Unfortunately, Marvel and DC have destroyed this perfect medium into pulverized it into oblivion, unfortunately. But there you go. They're 2 different things. And Watchmen was made to be a comic book, period. A funny book, a pamphlet. Now, it's made a great graphic novel, but reading it once a month, I remember it coming out, and honestly, I didn't think, I thought at the time I was reading something really cool and mind-bending. I never thought it would become like the comic book that breaks through and makes it on New York Times bestseller lists and Times all-time greatest. I never thought that, like, in a million years. But I thought it was really good, but I never thought comics would get respect back then either. Back then, they were not respected at all. So
no, they weren't. But I mean, I'm just not interested in the excuses for Zack Snyder. It's like, I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Hell, some hack on this episode proved that you could do the space squid. Ta-da! Better than Zack Snyder did. And it's not that hard. I could have done it. And I do not respect that choice. It's fundamentally flawed, and it ruined the movie from being the classic that it could have been. I mean, he executed everything beautifully except that, and he screwed that up. And I'm sorry, that's a fail. That's a fail. I still have it. I like to watch the performances. I like to watch certain scenes and so on. I have the director's cut, but again, ultimately, if I had to grade the thing, I'd say, well, it's kind of like, if you turn in your term paper in the summer. Well, too little, too late. You had one little thing that screwed it up, and but that is a screw up. That is a fail.
We all have our things, man. We all have our things. I feel that way about the MCU Spider-Man. I feel the exact same way. They fucked that thing up from the beginning. That's not Spider-Man. Absolute failure in every way. So the MCU is not the perfect destination for their own characters sometimes. And I fear for the X-Men. I'll say it right now. If Fox ends up doing the X-Men better, which they probably did, we'll find out. We'll find out. But I put up a tweet. I don't do this very much, but it was yesterday, and I got some pictures from Watchmen, and I got some pictures from Bird of Prey, and I showed you the 2019 superhero, and there's a bunch of frumpy people in regular clothes and ski masks and body suits, and it's a joke. And the Birds of Prey looks terrible, by the way. That looks god awful.
Yeah, it sounds awful.
Did you send me that picture? I'm sorry.
No, I have not. Let me go ahead and send it to you.
And I'll read some more chats here. Hashtag release the Snyder cut. Hashtag Epstein did not kill himself.
Damn right.
Yep.
I agree
with both of those. I want, but hey, Big Red Bear, thank you. Big Red Bear. Hey, we all, and that's the cool thing about the Fandomists. We can disagree on things. We don't agree on absolutely everything around here, and we're not going to alienate each other, which is great. That's what the other side does. Hail Doomcock's passionate rants, 100% correct. Says RR for $1.99. Forever Sci-Fi for $1.99. Thank you again for the release the Snyder cut, and Epstein didn't kill himself. 200-watt studio for $2. Doomcock, what's wrong with with Snyder's Watchmen? I think he just told you.
I already told you. I'm not going to go into that again. I have expounded on it quite clearly. And,
Snyder's he's very divisive sometimes. He's very divisive.
Only in that one detail. Otherwise, I think he did a very respectable job. I think he was quite respectful to the material. And then when he would deviate in such a radical way after being...
It might not have been his decision. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to find out whose decision that was. Because that sounds like a suit decision to me, but maybe not. So Snyder got screwed by Warner Brothers, worse than because after the unfortunate incident with his daughter, they were going to let him go. And that was prior to her doing the deed. So, they did him wrong in every single way. And then for, freaking hypocrite Whedon to go there and put up a sign. There's a protester in Justice. I don't know if you waste your time with Justice League that says I did my best. That was such a. Don't do it then. You know what? Going in, just Joss Whedon of all people going in to redo somebody else's work. Now it was, he was on bereavement. That's what they said. But there were stories that came out later that that wasn't the case. They should have waited. They should have waited for the man. But
well, yes. I mean, if it depends on what the truth is. I understand that these companies, they have deadlines. I mean, they have commitments to exhibitors and business plans. I mean, they can't necessarily, wait 6 months. They can't bump it. One of my sources told me that they were thinking one of the options on the table was to delay Ruse of Soywoker until May. But the weird thing is, actually, I got another source that was telling me that that was being pushed for at some point. That literally things have been that bad. However, once you've got ads, once you've got the cardboard stand-ups and the print stuff, it's too late. But I think this was earlier in the process because they saw that they were in trouble.
when did they? Because The Force Awakens was delayed, and so was The Last Jedi because of it. When did they do that?
That I don't know. I've blocked out Force Awakens from my mind.
Yeah, Force Awakens was delayed by 7 months until December 15th after J.J. Abrams pushed back on the amount of time that was given to bring. That was like a year in advance, though. Yeah, but yeah, they delayed, and I think The Last Jedi, they originally wanted to put it in May, and then they decided Christmas on that one, but I could be wrong on that one. But I remember, The Force Awakens did get delayed. Doomcock's anger brings me joy in the best way, says Daniel, $1.99. You know, it's good. It's good to get it out. It's good to get it out.
That just triggered me, man. I just saw red. It's like, that was just that question. Come on. Wait, come on. You know?
Yeah, you know,
I mean, I don't have anything against Zack Snyder. You know, I mean, his vision of Batman and Superman are not my cup of tea. But I absolutely support him having his, cut released 100%.
Yeah, of course. You should have heard Uche on Jeremy's. Jeremy was doing a Fallen Order, and Uche, I love you, man. I freaking love you, youngster. He called me an old man, but
douchebag.
He was talking about Snyder have their fans. They do, and I have a fundamental understanding of DC fans. I dealt with them for 10 years. I know that they are the single most passionate fan base on the planet, more than any other. And sometimes they're kind of like Raider fans, and don't get upset by that. Raider fans are true blue. They're hardcore fans, but sometimes they get a little myopic. They can't see, like, nothing's wrong with my team. And they love Snyder, and that's fine. I mean, I don't hate those movies. They're not good, but I own them because I like Superman. But Uche was going back and forth, and I didn't think he would answer the question like this, but I popped in the chat. So I'm like, so you think Man of Steel, because he was, pumping up Man of Steel. So I'm all, so you think Man of Steel is better than Donner's Superman? Expecting like, no, of course not. He's all, hell yeah.
Oh, and I went, God. That's insane.
I've never heard that before. That's weird.
That's insane. I'm sorry. That's insane. I have not seen Man of Steel because I couldn't even make it through the front part. I mean, I think there were little pods or something, or babies were growing. I don't know. And then he fell in this water. Russell Crowe like fell in this water or something. And I said, yeah,
eugenics. They were doing eugenics.
Yeah, and I just said, this doesn't really work. But it's I don't think it's anything compared to what Jar Jar Abrams is going to do to Superman. And Warner Brothers, it's going to be awful. And he's just going to dust off his Superman script. He's not going to rewrite.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, God, yes. The thing is, just
write
like
another script.
Absolutely. No way. And Jar Jar Abrams, the thing about it is, I read the Superman script before I even knew much about Jar Jar Abrams. I mean, it's been around that long, and I read it, and son of a bitch. So I got about to page 60, 65, and it was all good up until then. And then I'm like, whoa, what is this? And then I made about 5 or 10 more. I said, oh, and I just put it away. So it was so bad. It got so bad so fast. That's Jar Jar Abrams.
Hey, you want to copy the Joker script?
Yeah.
I'll email it to you. Somebody emailed it to me. I read half of it last night. It's interesting. It's interesting. It gives you, there's a few differences, gives you a little interesting perspective. I love that kind of thing. Absolutely. But I think it kind of gives you an insight of what the movie's about. But I need to think about it. That's how good it is, though, because I'm like, wait a minute, huh? And I'm not going to ruin it. But I think you can read that script and figure out like what's going down in the movie, and it's really trippy. And I think I kind of like it even more. I love
that movie, so I'm excited. Yeah,
so
I'd love to see it.
Can't wait to own that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Daniel, thanks for the super chat. And yes, we all love Doomcock's anger is endearing. There you go. And true. It's Dominique 2K5. thank you for becoming a member on the proto-molecule level. Mr. Rango, a member on the proto-molecule level. Nicholas Horton for £2. BBC War of the Worlds premiered Sunday. I heard it did. It stars a single pregnant woman, but it's a period piece. So, but it's a BBC, dude. Nicholas, I'll try it, but I'm not really down with the BBC right now. I think they're out of all. Oh, go on.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I just War of the Worlds gender swapped the lead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just
pregnant, single pregnant woman in the 1800s.
Are you kidding?
Mm-mm.
She's pregnant?
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what I heard. I haven't seen it, but
oh God.
Yeah. But well, I'll check it out. But I mean, like BBC is like they are gone for good. They're gone for good. They've got the diversity initiative, and listen, again, nobody's against inclusivity and diversity, but I mean, you can't create like that. You just can't. I mean, definitely go find new people and new voices, however you put it. Just make sure they're talented and you bring them in. But that's not what they're doing. It's cronyism no matter where you are. There's no system that won't be. We're people. That's what we do. We like what's familiar. It's good that they're trying some things, but they also have a very, very particular, we'll say particular politics, and they don't really keep any other side in mind because they think they're insufferable. They think they're right all the time. So yeah, I'm not about the BBC, and considering the rumor I'm about to drop about Doctor Who, I'm really not about the BBC at all.
Yep. Nope. They are,
I
don't know,
close to true. I get mad thinking about it.
You know, honestly, Doctor Who and the BBC are very much like Watchmen tonight. Mm-hmm. I mean, essentially, the BBC is the woman scientist in the lab that's trying to clone Doctor Who, and the Doctor Who is the puppy that they threw in the disposal. I mean, they're trying to genetically engineer a simulacrum of Doctor Who that is soulless. And that is essentially the problem. It is they have calculated it in a certain way to get a certain agenda across, but ultimately they are failing because it is soulless. It is something that is a Frankensteinian slapdash creation written on a calculator. Written on a calculator. That's what Doctor Who is.
That's a great way to put it. A calculator with after they hit their little checkbox. I mean, there's one episode. There's two things that happened which are glaringly bad. They had the pregnant man, but aside from that, in the New Year's Eve episode Resolution, there's a part where the doctor gets to a police station and a cop comes out and announces that he's a member of the alphabet community and doesn't even introduce himself by name. So he tells her what kind of person he sleeps with, but he doesn't say, hello, I'm John. I mean, he literally goes up and says, hi, I'm Ray. I don't want to say the word because it hurts the algorithm, but yeah, that's basically what it does. That's what Doctor Who is now. It's stupid. The Dallas Deadeye for $5. I just play the theme to Two Mules for Sister Sarah over the Mandalorian. Sounds great. It might be good. Yeah. Two Mules for Sister Sarah. Echo Watt for $2. I felt like you when I saw Dark Knight in theaters. Dark Knight was great. It was awesome. But the awe of it did not equal the awe of Star Wars. You can't. It's impossible. I can't even describe what it was to see that big ship come across the screen for the first time. Nobody had seen anything like it. You might as well have landed a UFO in your front yard. You would have had the same feeling. You're like, what the hell is that? How did they do that? I mean, nobody had done anything even close to that. Or Stanley Kubrick 2001, but I was 7, so I didn't see it. I didn't know 2001 existed when I was 7 years old. Sebastian Annan for $5. I'm just waiting for the Mandalorian to be revealed as Seamus Aaron. Lots of odd parallels between the show and Super Metroid, by the way. What's Super Metroid? Is that a
It's a video game.
It's a video game. Okay, gotcha. I was like, that's something I don't know about.
An old one. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. We got his name. He let his name slip. So the current theory is he's a clone. I know everybody thinks Baby Yoda's a clone because on Reddit had those clever people at Reddit found the Camino insignia on the Doctor's patch.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people assumed that the baby was a clone, which would be a good assumption. And I still think it could be. I'm pretty damn sure it's a baby girl just because it's Disney.
Of course.
The girl, the key to everything. So I'm sticking with that. I don't think it's a clone of Yoda. I think it's a daughter of Yoda or a clone daughter. Like they took kind of like what they did with X-23 with Logan.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, you can have a patch on your clothes, but I mean, there were only cloners down there. I mean, I didn't see any human scientists on Camino. So, yep. I mean, he bought it secondhand. It came in a gift pack along with the Clones Are Us home chemistry kit, that he bought from Camino by mail order. Maybe it's possible. It's possible.
But now they're thinking that the Mandalorian is a clone, which I mean, okay, that does not. I mean, that doesn't move me in any way, one way or the other. It's like, okay, he's a clone of who? I mean, it'd have to be of somebody to be significant, or he's just a clone. So he's an orphan. Okay, so he's an orphan clone. Okay, but I forgot what his name is, like Din Djarin or Dijarin or one of those, Star Wars. It sounds a lot like a Rogue One name, a Disney Star Wars name. That's what it sounds like. TR French, new member. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome to the Proto Molecule Club. Okay. How do I Dirigigo Duke? I always say it wrong. Doomcock.
Dirigo Duke.
Thank you for $1.99. Is now not the time to start a YouTube channel? Advice if I do. I would start one. I mean,
no, I don't think so.
I would. I still would. What I would do is be very careful. But it depends on what you plan to do. If you're doing anything that's on the borderline, like you're unboxing toys or something like that, I would not start a channel like that. But if you're just an adult in a room giving commentary, I think you're fine. And plus you're not going to get monetized for a while anyway. So, I mean, do it as a hobby. Sure. I don't want to talk anybody out of anything. And I don't want to, scare people off of YouTube. I need them to stay. I think we just need to figure out what's going on. Like definitively, I think it's going to be a very scary time for creators, for content creators. You guys are fine. But I don't know about us, to be honest with you. But yeah. 200 watt studio for $2. Yes, the Creed fanfare emulates the Rocky fanfare. Okay. So he emulated himself that emulated something else. I'll have to hear that.
Well, I don't know who did the score to Creed, so I can't say.
Same guy as Mandalorian. So
it was Bill Conti?
No, Bill Conti did Rocky. Creed was the remake. Not the remake, but the one that Ryan Coogler directed a few years back, which was a sequel. And that one was, I guess, composed by this guy, the guy who did Mandalorian. That's according to 200 Watt Studio. I don't know. I can check. Yeah. So it's an emulation of an emulation. That's still ripping off, in my opinion. But there you go. Masson Storm for $5. Cheers to end of good movies, good content, good comics, low censorship threshold. I have VHS. Plan to troll Goodwill. Hail Nerdrotic and bring the bringer of truth. Well, thank you, Masson Storm. And my highest recommendation: go find Goodwill. Go to Goodwills. And go to swap meets in towns in the middle of nowhere. That's where you find the best shit. Get away from the cities, okay? Because they're all looking for that stuff. You're not going to find good stuff in the cities. at all. Captain Spire. That's why I like to go swap meets. Like when I live in San Diego, I go to swap meets out in the middle of the desert or in the outskirts of San Bernardino. Yeah, find good shit. Star Wars is truly a Mickey Mouse operation, says Captain Spire for $2. You are not kidding. Winslow Friday for $2. Just to clarify, I meant why Snyder version was so bad. Oh, why was it so bad? He said it because it did not have the squid in the end, and it does fundamentally change a lot of things about the ending. And they made Dr. Manhattan the culprit instead of just like Dr. Manhattan going, "I'm done with you people." Right after he turned too, right after he started getting some hope, he's like, "Oh, I think I'm reconnecting with my humanity," and then no, you leave. Kind of fucked up, really. Riff Magus for Australian $2. Gary, my local comic shop is going strictly online. Ah, that sucks. I don't know. I'm starting online, guys, but I want to be brick and mortar online. I want to have I like talking to people. I like the interpersonal relationship aspect of it, but we are going to start online so we can have a backup for what's coming on the 1st. Admiral OF Doom for $5. Once again, Hollywood proves that that in case of zombie apocalypse, they are the safest place to be. Zombies will starve. Just an observation. That's true. That's a good point. Rewatched Mando, hoping for more. Sadly, underwhelmed, says Adam Mead for $2. Not the first person to say that, but there you go. 200 Watt Studio for $2. JJ is going to keep Superman's origin a mystery. He probably will. Oh, God. Uh-oh. It stopped on me, Doomcock.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Oh, okay. I got it. We're almost at the end here. We're almost at the end. I had to drag it down a little bit. There we go.
Okay. Jumped on you.
There we go. It jumped on me.
Okay.
Isaac Reyes for $5. Have you guys read the 2016 Vader comic? They should have adapted that into a movie. Would break 1 billion easy. Yes, Isaac. It was good. It was good. But yeah,
I've heard that. I've not read it. So
that's about that was. I stopped reading Marvel a year ago, so I couldn't take it anymore. I was done. I was not even getting through comics anymore. I was like reading a couple pages and tossing them like Zach did, like your boy Zach did. And listen, throwing a comic book on the ground used to be sacrilege to me. I would freak out if you did that. If you bent it, I hate it when people fold their comics, even if they owned it. I'll be like, don't do that.
Yes. Yes.
But now I'm like, who cares? It's a Marvel comic. Adam Mead for $5. James Bond. She's 20 years of she's 20 years of karate losses every time she has a fight with an actual male. The bad guy can't monologue because she can't stop talking. Jane Bond. Sorry, I said James Bond. Jane Bond. I ruined the joke.
Well,
Jane Bond. She's 20 years of karate, but loses every time when she has to fight an actual male. The bad guy can't monologue because she won't stop talking. 200 Watt Studio for $5. Ludwig Göransson was the composer for Black Panther, Creed 1 and Creed 2 and HBO Watchmen. Well, Black Panther was a forgettable score along with all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's scores. Completely forgettable except for maybe the Iron Man theme, a little bit of the Captain America theme, and the Marvel fanfare. But yeah, I don't like any of those things. And I didn't see Creed 1 or 2. So
I haven't seen it either, so I can't speak to it. I heard they were good. I just haven't seen it.
No, he's not. It's not HBO though. It's not Watchmen HBO. Ludwig, you probably mean the Mandalorian, because 9 Inch Nail, unless Ludwig is with 9 Inch Nails, which you might be. But we were talking earlier about the Mandalorian theme sounding like Creed. So I don't know if you got confused there. I thought, okay, so you were thinking Watchmen. I was talking about the Mandalorian. And that was brought to me by Stephen Walton. I have to put those two together and figure it out for myself. It might just sound somewhat similar. And that happens in music sometimes. It does. So we are at the end of the super chats, my friend. And we can, and that's pretty good. 2.5 hours, I think, is good. I think we can plug your channel. I know you got work to do. I got work to do.
Yes, lots of work.
Yes.
Well, my channel is Overlord DVD, so youtube.com/Overlord DVD. And I hope that you will subscribe, please. I also have Patreon, patreon.com/Doomcock, and subscribestar.com/Doomcock. And we have a great community there, and lots hours and hours and hours of exclusive content there, Discord meetups and so on. So hope you guys will support me there, please.
Yes, and here's the link. With this link that I'm putting in, that's his channel right there.
Thank you, sir.
Channel. Yes. And when this is gonna be unlisted and moved over to Nerdrotic Live, all of his links will be in the description. If you're watching this on Nerdrotic Live, don't forget to subscribe. And 200 Watt Studio. I'm confused. I was confused. I meant Mandalorian. Okay, good. Okay, so he did Black Panther, Creed 1 and 2, and The Mandalorian. So yeah, he probably just emulated himself, you know.
Yeah,
but I'll find out. Oh, believe me, I'm going to check. I'm going to check. Mikey Woods, thank you. Quarter Black Garrett, thank you. Zombie Apocalypse Gary, thank you. Chris Persia, thank you. Mark Lerzeth, thank you. Prayers for Mary Ashmead. I know she's going through a very hard time right now. Yes. So please send all of your prayers, all of our best to our Modrotic, our mutual friend, Mary Ashmead, who's we want to thoughts and prayers with her right now. Nicholas Horton for £2. Harvey's thoughts on the space squid.
I think the space squid is kind of hot. And yeah, you know, if there's like on Tumblr or what is it, Tinder, I would swipe whichever way it is when you say ha cha cha cha. That's what I would do.
Hey, baby. Nice tentacles you got there.
That's pretty hot. Nice suckers. Not nice suckers, honey.
Are those operational? The Art of the Real for $5. Disney has to censor past movies lest new viewers see how bad the past was and not how good these days are. That's interesting. You know, I think I'm going to read that again. Disney has to censor past movies lest new viewers see how bad the past was and how good these days are. Maybe that's how they feel about it. I can definitely see them having that perspective. The Art of the Real. I'm not sure what perspective you're coming from on that one. I'm going to assume that you're like, yeah, that's probably how Disney sees it when they censor something. But they would be wrong. They would be wrong. For one, the good old days, you know what? They're just like these days. Some were good, some were bad. Not all people were bad. But if you watch Doctor Who, especially an episode called Rosa, or you watch current Doctor Who, by the way, not past, or if you watch current Watchmen, we were all bad in the past.
Yes, absolutely.
The entire past is undermined. It should not be respected in any way because it was based in ism and ists, and there were no good people. Everybody was entrenched in this evil society, and it should just be erased from our memory. That's not what we should be doing. We need to remember our past, all with warts and all the ugly stuff. Because really, honestly, how far do you go back? Because guess what? Every single race has been enslaved in some form or another since civilization started. And where's the justice for, does justice have a time limit then? If we're going to go back and give okay, fine. Then what about, the descendants of 1,000 years ago and 2,000 years ago? Where do you stop?
You can't. I mean, I think the problem is that they're trying to rewire human beings.
Yes, that's it.
They're trying to, the thing about Shakespeare, the reason why Shakespeare is still good is that Shakespeare, for all his elevated vocabulary and flowery language, is still writing about human beings that haven't changed in hundreds and hundreds of years since the time when he was writing it. So they haven't changed really in 1,000 years.
No.
So, this notion that, it's only, now everything's fine. No. Now what's happened is that the same old human passions and prejudices and problems have just been driven temporarily underground by this, woke bullshit but they're not gone. And what happens when you suppress these kinds of things is they build up and they build up and they build up. And then eventually there's going to be an eruption out there, and it's going to just get worse and be uglier. You know, it's exactly like on Seinfeld, serenity now, insanity later. That's what it is.
Exactly. There's some despicable people generally on Twitter who think because they're for equality, they can act like shit in every other facet of their life and treat people like crap. Because I'm for equality, so I can cancel you as a person.
Yes.
There's people making livings doing that right now. And you know what? They're they like to throw out that. I don't like to throw out this term. They like to throw out the term garbage people. I like to call them they're fallible human beings that, we all have our flaws. They just have like things that really need to get worked on. Like, seriously, I mean that in all seriousness. It's not going to end well for you. If you're the kind of person who likes to cancel somebody and you just like, that's your thing, your life is going to be miserable and it will probably end early. So, yeah. I mean, if you want to be, because that can't be making you happy. That can't be making you happy. I'm just talking shit about a TV show and a movie. I'm happy as fuck. So, I mean, like, I'm not going after people. The people who are going after us, trying to cancel our friends and stuff like, you're going after individuals. There's something wrong with you, son or daughter. And you really need to get it worked on. I'm not joking. Like, your life is, I've seen it. Your life is going to be very miserable. And if that's the way you want to live, cool, but that's your choice. Don't be blaming anybody else for it. I got a couple more super chats. Michael P for $5. Hey, everybody, on Disney Plus, if you go under movie series and click on Star Wars movies, they don't have Last Jedi. I did get a screenshot. There's an actual explanation of that, Michael P. Thank you for the $5. They had a deal with Netflix, so they can't show it for a while. Same with Solo.
That's what I thought.
I'm a Slav. Guess where the word slave comes from? Big Red Bear. Yeah, exactly. I'm guessing from Slavs. I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing. Thank you for the Canadian pesos. The art of the real. I'm referring to the level of hatred and racism in the past versus now. The race baiters lose credibility if you compare. Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. If we remove the racism, that's a good point. See, this is why I asked for clarity. I'm sorry you had to give another super chat. So if you erase all the racism from the past, they can make today look just as bad as the past. I got you. Sometimes I get there a little slower. And that makes a lot of sense, to be honest with you. Well done. I'm sorry you had to put it in there twice, dude. I owe you. Okay. Art of the Real. If you want me to plug something, let me know. Do you got a channel? Because it looks like you accidentally put it in there twice, but thank you. I'm sorry about that. That's a great point. I haven't even actually thought about that. You take away the racism of the past, you can make the present look just as bad.
Yep. That's true.
Oh, they want it that bad. They want that. Believe me. Sean Thompson for $10. Gary, your Star Wars first name is Boyega. Your last name would be the first two letters of your mother's maiden name plus the first three letters of the city you were born in. So it would be the Moffsan. Moffsan. So Boyega Moffsan, because Moffat was my mother's maiden name. Now everybody knows it, but I don't care. And I was born in San Diego. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. Says I am Darth Raven for $2. Yes, we are.
Absolutely. Hail, I am Darth Raven, one of my legionnaires.
Yeah. Hail, Darth Raven. Yeah, it's, you know what? There's no anonymity for me, unfortunately. I put a bunch of stuff online when I was dumb in the 90s, and you can, my addresses are up there, my past addresses. There's not a lot I can fucking do about it. People know, and then I was dumb enough to put my face on the camera and my last name, but yeah, oh well, not worried about it. I have security. All right, so we're gonna end it there. Thank you to all the new members, dude. We got that is awesome. I can't wait till you run a live stream. That is good.
Absolutely.
Deal. And I want to thank again Mark Lazerth, Chris Persia, Chris Stanley, for joining up. Zombie Apocalypse Gary. I love that Zombie Apocalypse beard, Gary. And Mark Lurzeth, thanks for coming in here again. Prayers to Mary Ashby. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you on Doomcock's channel next Sunday at 7:15 p.m. Or 7:30. It depends.
Around there. We as soon as we can, as soon as we like sober up or, you know, shake off the lethargy or get out of the coma, whatever.
Yeah. And we got to talk about it. What sucks is the penultimate episode, Mrs. Neurotic is having her Christmas party. So I got to figure out a way, like we either got to do it later or earlier. I'm thinking later I can go to I have to do both. So we're going to have to, we might have to schedule later. I don't know. I'll talk to you about it.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But until then, everybody have a great night, and not all who wander are lost. Thank you for joining us.